Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back once again to Wheel Takes, a podcast about the Wheel of Time, a series of fantasy novels by Robert Jordan that were finished by Brandon Sanderson. I'm Gus. I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and I am on book 8.
Yes?
Chapter...
Yes?
24?
Well, hey! I didn't even have to do the little hand gesture.
You know why?
Why?
Because today I posted a TikTok and I had to post the spoiler warning, and I specifically looked. Because normally I make you do it because I hate it.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm ADHD. But this time I decided, you know what? I'm going to be a good wife today. Just today. Don't get used to it.
You're just the best person that I know. Here's the thing.
What?
Some people may not know about the Grinwell Cup, so I think we need to mention that right off the bat.
You fools!
We are currently, before we talk about anything else, the Grinwell Cup is happening on Twitter right now. The Grinwell Cup is the annual March Madness-style poll bracket that we do on Twitter to determine which Wheel of Time character has the greatest essence of hotness, whatever that means to you. It's a knockout bracket. Only one person can win. If they win, they're disqualified from all future tournaments because they join the Heroes of the Horny. Avienda won the first year. Brigitte won this year. Everyone is rooting for Caroline Damadred for an ABC. That's not necessarily true, but Allie is. Yeah. So if you've got a Twitter, go check it out. Twitter's still functional as of this recording.
Mm-hmm. Here I am with a tiny little flag rooting for Caroline Damadred.
And have fun. It's been very contentious so far. So far, we've had such upsets as Elaine beating Loghain.
We did not think that would happen.
And Lan absolutely shutting out Rand and Tam.
We knew that would happen, but we didn't think it would be such a massacre.
It was brutal.
That was brutal to watch.
As of this recording, Moiraine is beating Min Far Shaw by 1% on
I didn't think it would be this close. No. I thought Min would win first. And I thought it wouldn't be close.
Yeah.
Because I just assumed that I am the only Moiraine truther out there.
Anyway, it's good fun. It's all in good fun. If you take it too seriously, we'll block you. But
it's true. We don't tolerate a lot of bullshit.
Mostly just
not at our ripe old age.
Just have fun with it, and, come check it out on Twitter. It's a good time. Hey, Allie, before we dive too much farther in, it's been a while since we've done a main series episode that has, that has been recorded live the week that it goes up.
Yeah.
Before you went to Berlin, in fact.
It's true.
So we have a few people to thank.
We do?
Yes, we do. We have some new patrons. As always, if you don't want to listen to the patron thanks...
Oh, we really got to finish those patron letters.
You can skip ahead. There's going to be a timestamp down below that is timed to whenever it would be without ads, because the ads are different, so it'll be within like a minute or two.
I should clarify. It's a joy to do the patron letters.
We regret not being done with them.
I'm mad I'm not done with them.
Yeah. Allie, here's the thing. A few people to thank. First things first. Thanks for the high five. This person requested to be thanked by their AO3... fiction writing name.
Oh, we love that.
Soiraine.
Soiraine?
Soiraine.
I'm a fan of that ship name. Soiraine, just like Moiraine and Swan, you are a transcendent turtle dove. You are loyal. Did you know turtle doves mate for life?
Do they?
As do a lot of bird species, apparently. You are loyal. You are adorable. I mean, how cute was the pufferfish comment?
Indeed.
How cute are turtle doves? Really freaking cute. I'm not a bird person, and I think they're cute. You are not a fair feather friend. You're, in fact, somebody who will be there through winds and cloudy skies, and you will soar to great heights in your life. And for that, we thank you, and thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the cup of coffee, Dire Waffle.
Dire Waffle. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a me compliment.
I know.
Just like a.
You could say just like a dire waffle.
But dire is not a compliment word. So I'm going to take dire. I'm going to take waffle. But I'm going to change a dynamic waffle. You are substantial in that, you have a lot of really interesting thoughts and you verbalize them very thoughtfully. You might be a well-read person. And if you're not, which is okay, you at least really think quite well and critically about the world. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
Thanks for the...
Oh, and wait, I got one more. Is a good one. Ready?
Yes.
And you're wholesome. Get it?
Thanks for the high five, Kevin K.
Kevin K. Just like a careful beluga whale. We're getting specific. You are boisterous. I feel like beluga whales are kind of like the funny cousin of the whales.
I couldn't say.
They're dope.
Hillary, a.k.a. Mellow Whale, could say. I couldn't say.
She's gonna blow a gasket once again. I love that. You are, you're boisterous. I feel like they're so fun and fancy free, and they've got like a great smile. They've got great smiles, and you too, Kevin K, have a great smile. You're funny, not funny looking, unlike a beluga whale. They're a little funny looking, but you're funny. You're always keeping us laughing. You're always keeping us smiling, showing off our pearly whites. And you're a friend to everyone that you interact with. And for that, we thank you. And thanks for being a part of this community.
And thanks for the pint, Heather R.
Heather R, just like a shiny Pokemon card.
Yeah.
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 You are sharp. You know the corners?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You're bright. You're a bright person. People always are looking to listen. Yep, that's words.
Sure.
Unlike me. No, I'm just kidding. People are always wanting to hear what you have to say. You really take your time with things. You're complicated, like there's all kinds of little rules and stuff on those Pokemon cards, and that's not a bad thing, I think, to be a complicated person. You've got a lot of layers to you. You're somebody we really have to take the time to get to know. And you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous to look at. We love to look at a good card. And you're playful. Gus and I have this game. Gus discovered a Diglett Pokemon card in his room, his childhood bedroom, I don't know,
a few years ago. Because my parents were finally like, hey, this room...
Clear out your shit.
While we like having a shrine to you, maybe we should get rid of some of the things you're never going to use. So I went through my room and I found this Diglett card.
Yes. And
I got rid of everything else. No, that's not true.
No, but we found the Diglett card. And since that day, we take turns hiding it in various places in our home. Yes. For the other to discover. And when the other discovers it, they get to hide it next. And this has been going on for years.
Quite a long time.
It's one of those little insights into our marriage.
There might be a Diglett in the studio with us now.
No, I know that's not true.
It might be.
No, because I know where you hid the most recent one. I just have to find it and hide it.
How do you know I didn't hide? We have two now.
Oh, yeah, you do?
Yeah.
No, because I saw it on the bookshelf not that long ago, and I found it, so I get to hide it.
No. Let's talk about this later. Continue.
No. Let's have witnesses.
I didn't hide the Diglett on the bookshelf. I put the Diglett on the bookshelf. So I could then hide it. It was sitting out in the open. And you went, I found it. And I went, no, you didn't. I put it there. You still haven't found the one I hid in the other room.
I know where it is, though.
Yeah, but you haven't found it yet. I told you where it is, and you still haven't found it.
Well, I'm taking my time.
All right.
I'm letting myself forget where it is again. But anyway, this is a look inside our marriage.
Anyway, funny as this is.
Wheel of Time.
Are we done with thank you? So thank you.
What?
You were that was a patron thank you that you were doing.
Yeah, I finished it.
You did?
I said they were playful. Oh, and so thank you for your contribution to this podcast and for your contribution to our community. I forgot that part.
You did.
I forgot that part.
Thanks,
okay.
Heather. Thanks, all of our patrons.
Fucking culpa.
Thanks, Ollie. You're great. It's very thoughtful of you.
Really,
truly.
Heather. Really, Heather, we are so thankful for you and for you being part of the community.
Allie, what I want to know is this. Where'd we leave off?
I have no fucking idea.
What?
Did Rand do something dumb?
He got all of his best bros together.
Oh, yes. And we're attacking the Seanchan.
Anything for you, best bro. And then he was like, we're going to attack the Seanchan.
And I was like, something's happening.
And it did it ever.
It did.
Did it.
I wish it hadn't, actually. Can we go back
to when it hadn't happened? You spent all this time.
This is like when I watched The Sound of Music. Oh
yes.
my god, I know you were going to say, have we told this story?
We have told this story, but the first time I saw The Sound of Music, I was being a curmudgeon for some reason.
I don't know why you were being
if you haven't seen The Sound
of
Music, it's beautiful, wonderful music, etc., etc. And I was like, I'm so tired of all these frolicking Austrian children.
Well, I don't think it's that you were tired of them.
I was just like, nothing's happening and I don't care that much. And then the Nazis showed up and I went, go back.
Go back to the happy children. Yeah, well, I think it's also that you knew the Nazis were coming, so you were like, when are the Nazis coming? They're just singing and dancing, and there's a love story. You didn't care about whether or not he would marry Baroness von Schrader?
Well, I knew he wasn't gonna.
My favorite is my sister, when she came on screen when we were watching it as a family, goes, that's me, I'm the bitch. Because my family and I like to play this game where we tag ourselves in different things.
Yeah. Good
obviously.
Chapter 23, Allie, is where we're starting. It's called Fog of War, Storm of Battle. This is the logo. What is it?
It's a Seanchan helmet.
It's the helmet. Do you, and I know you do because they're on my phone, have notes.
Yeah. Okay, you did not include the context of some of these.
You never do. And for the record...
I expect you to be better than me.
This was taken during a live react, so Allie would just say things, and then 8 seconds would go by, and then she would turn at me and yell, "Note!" to indicate that I should have written down the thing I heard and have now sort of forgotten that she said.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess there was really shitty weather or something, because I said LA after it rains. We'll find out what that was about. Oh, and this is about Rand, like the women following Rand around. I said, I hate these women. You know what? Women don't have to support all women. And I stand by that. At one point, Robert Jordan described throwing up as emptying herself. And I'm sorry, when you say emptying yourself, like, that's, as someone who's experienced Moctezuma's revenge, I have a very different definition now of what that might mean. Like, I'm picturing I think it was Elaine. No,
it was Ailil or Anaiyella.
The lady I hate. I just pictured her like shitting and farting and throwing up. Just as all of it. Did we just skip a battle? I mean, there was so much unskippable content before this part. I guess it just makes sense.
And then you got to the battle and you went, oh no.
I did. Gedwin didn't want to dirty his hands healing people. Yeah, we should trust him. But at the same time, he tried to kill Gawain, so I'm on his side. Let them die. Spitting in this COVID time? Someone was spitting. Okay, and then Rand started off on his list again, which is tiresome. And I said, is this a BuzzFeed list? Top 10 women you're sad about? If Moraine's not number one,
she's up there.
Drop kicking you.
Yeah.
I don't know the context of this. Entrepreneur evil. Oh!
You kept trying to come up with this, call someone an evil entrepreneur. And we said, yeah, they're instead of entrepreneurial, they're entrepreneurival.
Entrepreneur evil.
Yeah.
That was funny, but I can't remember who it was about.
We'll get there.
Was it Mazrim Taim? Maybe?
He's not there.
That's a candidate, though.
It could be, yeah.
You fake bees. Oh, you know what? It's probably about the Seanchan.
Could be.
Yeah. You fake bees. Oh, is this because they were going to stab Rand? Maybe.
I'm not sure. You just yelled, you fake bees, note.
Ogier guards? Oh, that might be about the Ogier guards. The fake bees.
It could be.
Oh, no.
Because this is when we're with Seanchan.
It's about the people that keep swearing oaths to different people.
Oh.
They like swear oaths to these guys and then these guys and then the Seanchan. And I'm like, you fake bees. Keep one. Ogier guards. Hey, Aerith. Oh, so we are seeing some fighting. Nice job not hurling, Rand. This is progress. Mm-hmm. You know what? It is.
That's a win. Yeah, he didn't
You know what? He's not looking like the freaking exorcist girl in front of everybody. Yeah. Okay, Rand, you realize that the bring me all the women is going to make you look like a rapist? Like, that's definitely what Davram Bashere thought in that moment. We'll reread that scene.
I have never read it that way before, but
Now it's so obvious. Am I wrong?
I don't think that's what he meant.
No, it is. Oh, my God.
But it is absolutely
how it's
completely realistic way to read it.
It's absolutely how it was taken by literally everyone that was there.
Oh, yeah. No, it's... Because we get to this point where Rand is like...
I'm not saying that was what Rand was up to.
No.
I'm saying Daddy Dav and the rest of them thought that's what he was going for.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I am 1,000% right.
Because
I'm 1,000,000% right. I couldn't be more right if I tried.
At this point where Rand is like, every time they take a damane, he's like, just give her... I'll take her.
Bring the women to me.
Give her to me. And everybody looks at him like... What? Why?
And like Davram looks up sharply, right? With a like, did I misjudge this kid face? And the women like press their mouths together looking appalled but not surprised.
I agree that this is a way to read it that makes perfect sense.
It is the way to read it. It is the way to read it.
I don't think Robert Jordan
This is why more women need to share their thoughts on these books.
I think
it is the way to read that. They were like, are you a rapist? And then he was like, so that I can talk to them about their feelings and shit. Whatever it is he ends up saying. And they're like, oh, okay, it's fine.
He doesn't really explain it. He just keeps going, bring the women to me.
No, but he does explain that because Davram relaxes.
Okay.
Because for a second, it looks like he wants to say something, which, good. I stand Davram Bashere. Everyone vote for him in the Grinwell Cup.
I stand Davram Bashere.
Actually, wait. I know who he's up against.
Is he fucked?
It's not that he's fucked. It's that I may want someone else more.
Oh, it's that bracket. Right. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah. But, so, yes. But I make these brackets and then I hurt myself.
You do?
Yeah, it's true. Like, I just, I can think of a category and I think that it would be interesting to see the characters go up against each other, I do it. And then I look back and go, oh, that's going to hurt me. Mm-hmm. But I go, you know what? The categories cat is the categories cat.
But so, just for the record, I don't think Jordan meant for it to be read this way.
No, he 100% did. 1,000% did.
Really? You think so?
Oh my God, yeah.
Because I think he meant for it to be read like, and now they're seeing his weakness.
No!
I agree with you that it makes more sense, or at least as much sense to read it.
Why would they press their lips together?
Because they're like, you pussy.
Why would Davram look up... Oh my God, we're going to read this, and I'm going to be like, he thought he was being a rapist.
I buy it.
Because look at the soldiers we've seen before. The white cloaks, we had Ferran the rapist.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm really fucking sure that the Dragonsworn are doing all kinds of sexual crimes. Right? Let's be real.
No, they're not. Because Massima...
Oh, right. They're just cutting off people's ears.
They almost slaughtered Talonvor for that.
Right, they're just cutting off people's ears.
We were so close.
All right, well, they assumed... they were
Talonvor something. Oh, man, I'm sorry.
You know what I think is telling? No one has tried to defend him thus far to us, I don't think.
A couple people have, and that's their prerogative.
God, everyone in these books has some kind of defender. If we wanted to make everyone happy, we couldn't hate on anyone.
That's true.
And this would be the most boring milquetoast, soppy bullshit you've ever heard in your life. Okay. Everyone's special and makes good decisions all the time. Like, shut up. Anyway. No. All of your I'm coming for all your faves. I'm going to make you all cry. Okay. But. But yeah, no. He looks like a huge arpist.
He looks like a cactus king.
A cactus king. And I'm just saying, now we've got a exorcist spewing, talking to himself, laughing at inappropriate times, rapist king. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying, again, Rand deserved to be shot. He deserved an attempt on his life to humble him, and apparently that didn't work.
No, it did. Well,
I don't know what else we can do for this kid.
I don't know, Allie. Based on the end of the next chapter, do you think it worked?
No, I don't think it fucking worked.
Storm.
I don't think it fucking worked. He's an idiot. Okay, continuing on. Yeah, Rand, but you're the most important person in the universe. It's kind of a big responsibility. You were just shot, Rand. Stop. You may be invincible, but all the people around you are not.
That is true.
That's what's so annoying is he's like, sorry. First. He just goes, let me list in a sad sack manner all the women who have died because of me. Proceeds to put every fucking person, including women, in danger for no reason at all. So which is it? Which is it? Do you value women's lives or not? Because you've got two women right next to you. Now, are they my favorites? No.
Did they maybe want to kill him?
Do I want to push him into the sun? Yes. But they're women nonetheless, and apparently that is all that matters to you. And yet, you flagrantly put them in danger several times during the course of this, which kind of makes me on their side if they weren't so irksome.
Yeah.
My Lord Dragon, I cannot fight. That's for poor people to do. Shut up. Like, honestly.
I think my favorite thing...
It's the apocalypse.
My favorite thing is that as soon as everyone else is out of earshot and he's wounded, Anaiyella completely drops that.
See, that made me like them.
Yeah.
That made me go, okay, play the game, sis. Who the fuck am I?
You are a dedicated
I am messed
reader.
up. Shane, do we need to talk? You bring the holy water, I'll bring the vibes.
All right. Fog of War, Storm of Battle. Allie, before we get into these two chapters, what'd you think of them? Because these are some big ones.
That's a really big question.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
I feel like Robert Jordan was basically like, if you didn't get that I have Vietnam trauma during Demise Wells, you fucking do now.
Yeah. If you thought Demise Wells was so cool, read this.
Rand fucked up so bad.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Up until now, like, we've won all of our battles, and...
Even Demise Wells, which we describe as a loss
Wells
for
was
everybody.
A loss for everyone, but we got to see how big of a loss.
But it was also like Rand came out of it ahead.
Yeah. This time, he fucked up really bad. Mm-hmm. Really badly he fucked up. That was really bad. 0 out of 10. And I knew what was horrible about it was I knew it was coming.
Yeah, you did.
I knew it was coming. Like I said, oh my God, this idiot's going to try to napalm this forest with Kalendor. And he's dumb as a stump if he's going to try to do that. And then he was dumber than a stump. He was, and I get like, but he had them defeated. He didn't need to keep going.
No.
This was like pure hubris.
Yes.
At this point.
Well, because he decided, I want to finish this entire side plot right now.
And that's not how that works. That's not how that works.
But it has been for him up to this point, hasn't it?
That's true. But he just got shot at like many times.
Well,
and he got shot.
What happened at the end of last book?
What happened at the end of the last book?
Yeah.
Demise Wells.
No. That's book 6.
Oh, Christ.
He got a festering magical side wound, recovered for 3 days, woke up in a semi-delirious haze and said, well, I gotta go kill Samael now.
Oh, and then he did. Yeah, but he probably has Moradin in his head now.
Sure.
So is that a win?
I mean, it is for him.
Then my
he
other
killed
question-
Samael, right? And Demise Wells happened, and he came out of it with a bunch of Aes
Still having to
Sedai.
deal with all the Ilion rebellion shit.
Yeah, but it's not nearly as bad as having Samael there. What I'm saying
here's
is...
my argument. Samael's one person. So we can defeat one person and kaboomy boom, like problem solved. And then we still got the additional problem of like all of his followers and stuff. And we like deal with that slowly over time.
Sure, but...
The Seanchan are an entire group.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not defending Rand. I'm not saying that he was right to do this.
Well, no one should.
I mean, yeah. Well, in this particular case, I mean, he made a terrible decision here, and if you think that everything he did was good and right, he doesn't.
Well, that would be the most confusing thing of all, is if anybody walked away from this, I'm sure there are people, I'm positive. We may hear from some of them. But I would be really confused to understand the logic of this, where they're like, Rand really came out ahead, and there's no criticism to be made here of Rand. Like, at that point, I'd be like, please explain, because did we read the same books?
Yeah.
Because he thinks in his head, I lost. Mm-hmm. And I understand that the Seanchan guy also thinks I lost. That's because everybody lost.
Everybody lost.
This was a fucked up moment. For everyone. This is bad.
Yeah. These two chapters, by the way, and other ones, but these two chapters in particular are a big part of why I like Book 8 so much. Two
things. Yes, I agree with you. This has really been... Yeah, these chapters were impactful.
Yeah.
For sure. My big thing is... I also feel like this is another moment where we feel Moraine's absence very acutely.
Sure, yeah.
Because I don't think she would have let this happen.
I think she certainly would have counseled against it. I mean, Bashere so far has been Rand's most steadfast, trustworthy counselor.
But I think she would have seen coming what he was going to do. Because Bashere couldn't have known about Calendar, but Moraine knew.
Yeah, she would have known.
She would have figured it out, what he was doing before he did it.
Yeah.
And I think she would have side-tackled him into oblivion over it.
Yeah.
You know, the woman can rugby tackle with the best of them. And Bashere coming in for...
Fucking cannonballs this guy has.
This man can have ovaries. This one can have...
He's earned them.
He's earned ovaries, because ovaries can take a beating.
They can.
He's earned ovaries at this point. He has them. I'm proud of him. Because he can side tackle with the best.
Yeah.
He and Moraine with the side tackles.
Yeah.
Of like the savior side tackles. Like Roy Kent could never.
No. Ted Lasso reference. That's coming back soon.
I know. I'm really excited. I love fucking Ted Lasso.
Shall we jump in?
No, that just sounded like I love fucking Ted Lasso. No, that's not what I mean. But please. I am the seagull. No,
that's not what I mean. Chapter 20, there's not 42. Chapter 23 will begin right after these messages. Welcome back. If you got an ad for Ted Lasso, I'd be impressed, because I really don't think Apple... Well, they might. I don't know. Anyway, fog of war, storm of battle. No rain fell for the moment. Rand guided Tai'daishar around an uprooted tree lying across the slope, and frowned down at a dead man sprawled on his back behind the tree trunk. The fellow was short and blocky, his face creased, and his armor all overlapping plates lacquered blue and green, but staring sightlessly at the black clouds overhead, he looked a deal like Egan Padros, even to the missing leg. Egan Padros, the guy who shot at him.
Oh, justifiably. I'm gonna keep saying that.
So Rand was like, that was a hell of a battle, and you went, no!
Well, because, okay, in my defense, they've done this to us before.
They have. Lews Theron yells at him, and Weiramon's there. How's he?
Charging. Wanted to charge.
It was suggested to me that
Charging
I try
as much as a credit card.
A Laszlo Cravensworth.
And it works.
From What We Do in the Shadows
Who
voice.
Suggested that? Because that was brilliant.
Someone on Twitter did.
You're
Great
know
idea.
that you did a good job. We're happy with you. 10 out of 10.
Give me a second. A great victory, Weiramon intoned behind Rand, then muttered, "That's small honor in it. The old ways are best." And Rand is like, "Yeah, Weiramon, why don't you have any fucking mud on you, dog? I'm
Rand's like,
filthy.
Weiramon, why aren't you killed?
Why aren't you dead yet, you sack of shit?
My Lord Pears.
My Lord Pears.
Are you killed?
God. He was molested, my Lord Pears' horse. My Lord Pears. That's the best thing to say to someone if they look like they're in pain, not actually, is, "Are you killed?"
Are you killed?
The Terrabonners charged at the end, lances and courage against the One Power, and Weiramon had led his own charge to break them. Without orders.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
And followed by every Tyrant save the defenders. Even a half-drunk Torion, surprisingly. By Samaradrid and Gregorin Penar, too, with most of the Kyrianan and Illianers. Standing still had been hard by that time, and every man wanted to come to grips with something he actually could come to grips with. The Ashaman could have done it faster, if somewhat more messily.
Yeah, ew.
That paragraph is horrifying.
Yes.
When you think about it. That is a fucked up paragraph.
Rand's fucked up. His head has gotten increasingly uncomfortable to be in.
I'm not saying it that way. I'm saying that from the perspective of someone who has been in the thick of battle, which is, Robert Jordan, that is a terrifying paragraph.
To say, like, oh, they cut down a whole group of people?
Standing still had been hard by that time, and every man wanted to come to grips with something he actually could come to grips with. The Ashaman could have done it faster, if somewhat more messily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack in this.
Yes, there is.
The other day, or a while ago, I did a TikTok where I was talking about how this series addresses trauma, and this guy was like, I don't really agree. This series doesn't talk about trauma at all. And I was like, what? Did we read the same book?
This entire series is...
Didn't Robert Jordan even say... No, he didn't say directly, but right?
No, but I mean... the whole book is about grappling with trauma. That's the whole series.
We read completely different books, apparently.
I would argue that alongside kind of 80s feminism-ish from a guy, we've been over this. That's like the core thrust.
No, let's talk about it again.
Is like war trauma and trauma and
trauma of war
and trauma from things other than war, but mostly he doesn't really pay as much attention to those traumas.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that extensively.
No.
So Bashere shows up. By the way, Anaiyella is now hanging out with Weiramon, and Rand is like, "That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you two hanging out?
What the fuck is up with Weiramon? Weiramon's trying to assassinate Rand."
Think so?
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's look at the facts.
Why would he do that?
Because he's catching on to the vibes that Rand wants him dead.
Oh, well, Rand is probably saying it out loud at this point.
I mean, I'm saying. We're in Rand's head. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't believe that he's not going, "Why aren't you dead yet?" to Weiramon. And later it's going to be like, Weiramon attacks Rand, and Rand's going to be like, "Wonder why he did that."
I loved that guy. That guy was great.
I loved that guy. The little silly chargy man.
When Aegon Pedro shoots him and he's just like, "Oh, I liked that dude." Or like when he gets to Kyrian, he's like, "You know who I hear Gawain's in town. I hope we can get a beer."
Dude, he thinks that you killed his mom.
I just love Rand doesn't talk to or hang out with anybody. He sent a letter to Gawain inviting him to come vibe.
Gawain who thinks that you killed his mom.
He was like, "Dude,
this man is asking
The
to
Last
be...
of Us."
Listen, I'm not one to victim blame. Again, I'm not one to victim blame. But this guy is as close to asking to be assassinated as anyone has ever been close to asking to be assassinated.
Pretty much. So Bashere comes up. Ericom's
Big
gone.
ball bashy.
Flynn tried healing him, but I don't think Ericom wanted to live like that. There's near 50 dead so far, and some of the rest might not survived. Anaiyella paled. Rand had seen her near Erracombe, emptying herself. She's just shitting everywhere.
Shitting and farting and throwing up.
Now, I make this joke to distract myself from the line, I don't think Erracombe wanted to live like that. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Anyway. Yikes.
And then Rand is like, Min told me that one was going to happen.
Or whatever, no, Erracombe?
Yes, and Rand was like, you really care about it when it's a noble. You don't care when it's a commoner.
Well, okay, because
yes, but also...
Here's my thing, though. She knew that guy.
Yes.
Again, it's like Rand's like, everyone should matter. And I'm like, yeah, everyone should matter, but we can acknowledge that to us in our little social bubbles. Some people do matter more to us. I'm like, okay, here's the thing, Rand. Like, you love Min, right? You love her. She's Min. She's your friend. She's your Min, right? So, like, Min versus, like, Anaiyella. Do they matter the same?
Well, they both have vaginas, don't forget. So to Rand, the answer is yes.
It's true. Never mind. I asked the wrong question.
Yeah, you asked the wrong question to the wrong character. So, we're in a pause between battles.
All right. Rand, a grown man versus a baby boy.
Flynn.
But you know the grown man. You don't know the baby boy. Who matters more?
Oh.
That's, I mean, these are the questions.
Flynn, Adley, Moore, and Hopwill are healing. Narishma can't heal for shit. Dashiva cannot heal at all. Gedwin and Rashade are just kind of hanging out. Near 50... the hill where they had expected to catch the Seanchan by surprise when they rushed up... Wait... Gedwin and Rashade stood talking well apart from anyone else, holding their horses by the reins atop the hill in the middle of the valley. The hill where they had expected to catch the Seanchan by surprise when they rushed out of gateways surrounding it. Near 50 dead, and more to come. But it would have been above 200 without Flynn and the rest who could manage healing to one degree or another. Gedwin and Rashade had not wanted to dirty their hands, and grimaced when Rand drove them to it. One of the dead was a soldier, capital S, it was Ashaman. And another soldier, a round-faced Kyrianan, sat slumped beside a fire with a dazed look that Rand hoped came from being tossed through the air by the ground erupting almost under his feet.
Well, it probably is that, yes.
Could also be the thing that the books totally aren't about, really doesn't address at all. Trauma.
No.
I feel bad.
Men don't feel trauma.
I feel bad
That's
roasting
not true.
that take, but I'm sorry. The books are completely about trauma. That's half of it.
No.
Men will literally go to therapy.
Gus.
Men will literally write 4.4 million words before they go to therapy.
No, Gus, the youths are making mountains out of molehills. The older generations didn't feel trauma like these mamby-pamby children today. They just drank and beat people. Like a real man.
Oh, generalization. All right.
All the housewives were on speed.
So apparently this attack didn't go as well as it could have. And Rand has some regrets. And he's thinking about, he's talking to Bashere. Bashere gives him some, commentary on the battle. And he's thinking about the people around him. Most of those who escaped death on the mountainside had managed to withdraw through the trees that remained standing with amazingly good order, considering, Bashere claimed, yet they were unlikely to be much threat now, not unless they had the damane with them. But 100 or so men sat huddled on the ground, stripped of weapons and armor, under the watchful eyes of 24 mounted companions and defenders. So we have prisoners of war now. That's rough.
And Rand's like, bring the women to me. Again. I'm sorry, there's no other way to read that.
A fair number held their heads up and jeered at their guards.
Good for
Gedwin had wanted to kill them, after putting them to the question. Weiramon did not care whether they had their throats slit.
What a noble steed. What a noble man.
But he considered torture a waste of time. None would know anything useful, he maintained. There was not a one nobly born.
But Anaiyella is the asshole.
Rand then glances at Bashere, and then he's like, Weiramon has been talking non-stop.
If I were Rand, this is how I'd quiet that down. I'd go, I'm not nobly born either.
He's done that before. He's done that.
And Weiramon's still talking like this?
So
then Weiramon's too dumb to live.
He looks at Bashere and then he realizes that Weiramon has been talking this entire time. And he glances back. Sweep these mountains clean for you, my lord dragon, and we'll trample them beneath our hooves. And then he just stops paying attention to him. And he looks over at Bashere, and Bashere goes, 6 up and half a dozen down. Or as some of my tenants say, what you gain on the swings, you lose on the roundabouts. And Rand is like, what the fuck does that mean, dude? What are you talking about? This is a regional aphorism that I have no fucking context for. Is that the right word, aphorism?
I think so. Maxim, idiom, one of those.
It is an aphorism. Oh, I got it.
Hooray.
All right.
I think aphorism, maxim, and idiom are all kind of the same thing. Is that right?
Kind of. All right, so, and then all of a sudden some of Bashere's men come back with a Suldam, and what does Rand say? Hell yeah, you caught a Suldam?
Bring the women to me.
Did you hurt her?
Oh, shut up.
And they're like, no.
Yeah, no, then bring her to me, says Rand, shadily.
She claims we killed her Jilly, a pet dog or cat or some such, the way she carries on. Her name's Neareth, we got that much out of her. And Rand is like, yeah, all right, well, Jilly the Damani's on the list now. Good job, everybody.
Oh my god, you didn't even know her.
Luz Theron moaned for his Ilyena. And then Neareth spits on her, and Rand and someone is like, let's hang her.
If she was like a random, like, honestly, if he was like, oh, I'm sad that we had to kill a Damani because she didn't have any choice, like, that'd be one thing. But he's like, the vagina. Rip Vag.
Anaiyella goes, if my lord dragon feels constrained, I'll hang her for him. Because she's,
That would be helpful, actually.
And Rand goes, no!
Oh my god!
As soon as we're ready to move again, turn the men down there loose.
What? The prisoners?
Yeah. I've spoken, and it's done. We'll keep the woman, though. And any other women that we capture. And Weiramon goes...
This makes you look like a rapist!
Weiramon goes, burn my soul. Why?
Okay, look at this. All right. We're going to do an analysis. Why would they turn the men loose?
Because Rand is like, well, we're on the other side of them, and they don't have a commander, so they'll just kind of disperse.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Rand, respectfully.
He said,
I understand you can't keep prisoners and you can't kill them, so this is really the best option without violating too much of the Geneva Convention.
I've spoken and it's done. We'll keep the women, though, and any more women we capture. Burn my soul, Weiramon exclaimed. Why? The man appeared dumbfounded, and for that matter, Bashere gave a startled jerk of his head.
Okay, maybe you're right.
Anaiyella's mouth twisted in contempt before she managed to turn it into a simpering smile for the Lord Dragon.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
Plainly, she thought him too soft to send a woman off with the others. That's fucking not it. That's not it. They would have hard walking in this terrain, not to mention short rations, and the weather was not weather to turn a woman out in. I have enough Aes Sedai against me without sending Suldam back to their trade, he told them. So he explained, right? Mm-hmm. The light knew that was true. They nodded. If Weiramon was slow about it.
He's like, sure.
Bashere looked relieved.
Oh, you're totally right. Oh, God.
Anaiyella disappointed. But what to do with the woman and any more he captured? They think he's going to rape that woman.
I don't like that.
That's what they think.
I hate this.
Am I wrong? That's the interpretation of that.
I'm not... It's a pretty good one.
And that's why Anaiyella's like, I'm gonna stab him.
It's a pretty good interpretation.
I'd stab him too if I thought he was a creepo like that. And he was already wounded. I'd be like, it might be better for this world if you're not in it. Am I wrong?
And
he's making himself look like a fucking creep.
He goes, when this is done, I'll hand her over to some Aes Sedai I choose. And then she goes...
When what is over?
Yeah, I know. She goes bone white, screams, and runs away. Although I think that's supposed to be like, Aes Sedai. That's the
Aes Sedai. But everything before that, am I wrong?
Whether or not he intended it to be read this way, it makes a disturbing amount of sense.
Oh, that is the way he intended that. I mean, war trauma.
I know. I'll
There's
take
no
it.
way.
So they chase her down. Anyway, so battle continues. We keep moving. There's a guy named Weiramon. He's here. So tell me about Weiramon.
Weiramon.
Yeah, tell me all about him.
He, was the Seanchan guy?
Now, so this is just some Ashaman who shows up.
Oh, my bad.
I didn't think you'd remember that.
Okay, so then that was cruelty, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that was mean.
And I was panicking that I should have remembered him. And you were looking at me so earnestly. You dastardly villain.
I think he's a Terraboner. And he goes, he was a young man, Weiramon by name, still wearing a transparent veil to cover his thick mustaches. He had not hesitated when he found himself facing his countrymen, though. Allegiance was to the Black Tower and the Dragon Reborn, now. So, Taim always said.
I don't love that is an afterthought.
The second part of that always sounded like an afterthought.
And we're not going to go, that's a red flag?
And Gedwin's like, all right.
Here's the thing. We just need a little Duolingo owl to show up every day.
Half an hour.
And just go, your Duolingo, your time at the Black Tower needs to happen so that they have any sense of loyalty to you, because things are going to go real bad real fast. And we're going to see a Black Tower split. I think Logain's going to lead the good Black Tower, and Mazrim Taim's going to lead the bad Black Tower.
Say that 10 times fast.
My God. And it's not going to be good, because then we're going to have more infighting, which is what the baddies want.
So, Weiramon reports that there's more 30 miles west, and Bashere is like, all right, everybody better eat real fast. And then Rand is like, well, Jilly the Damani's on the list now, can't get rid of her. Oh, well.
Fuck Jilly. No, respectfully, I mean, it's really sad that she died. But I'm just saying, if it were like a male Damani, he wouldn't care.
Probably not.
He'd be like,
war.
Yeah. And, it is sad. Here's the thing. If it were, it's really sad that we had to kill someone who might not have had a choice in what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a really valid thing, I think.
Yeah, it's a different...
To me, that's a really valid place to come at it from. But again, it's like, we're going to value women's we're going to take away women's bodily autonomy and their, responsibility for their choices. We're going to infantilize women essentially and reduce them down to their genitals. Aren't we done with that?
You'd think. So we switch to a new perspective. Who's this? Furyk Karede is his name.
Furyk Karede?
Yes, also known as, that's right, Seanchan. From the point of a thrusting shoulder of stone, Furyk Karede, aka Seanchan. If you missed this, we're calling every Seanchan POV that may or may not only show up once, Seanchan, until proven otherwise. Mm-hmm. So if Furyk Karede is still around in 2 books, he will graduate to being named Furyk Karede. But if he shows up this book and never again, he will be Seanchan.
Yeah, I can't keep track.
Furyk Karede carefully studied the forested mountains rising all around him, sharp peaks like dark fangs. His horse, a tall, dappled gelding, stiffened his ears as though catching a sound he had missed, but otherwise the animal was still. His helmet's 2 black plumes were bent over instead of standing straight, and water ran down his back. A light rain compared to yesterday anyway, and probably compared to tomorrow.
I will give it to Robert. Some of these little details do kind of, I always try to think of little ways to show that someone's tired or that someone's angry or all these little things. He's good at that.
He's great.
With the little plumes being slightly bent.
Yeah. Well, I think
you're like, oh, he's been through something.
I don't think anybody would argue that Robert Jordan's bad at detail,
I meant it as purely praise.
Absolutely. I think a lot of where we bump up with Robert Jordan's detail is that by this point, it seems as though Tor and Harriet had said, whatever, just go ahead.
May we all reach that
May
point
we
in our
all
careers.
plateau so. Below him, the last of 2,300 men snaked through the winding passes, men gathered from 4 outposts. Well-mounted, reasonably well-led, yet a bare 200 were Seanchan, and just 2 besides himself wore the red and green of the guard. Most of the remainder were Terreboners, he knew their mettle, but a good third were Amadicians and Altarans, too new to their oaths for any to be sure how they would stand up. Some Altarans and Amadicians had switched allegiance 2 or 3 times already. Tried to, anyway. People this side of the Erith Ocean had no shame. A dozen Suldam rode near the front of the column, and he wished all 12 had leashed Damanis walking by their horses instead of only 2. So, here's this guy.
So, God, I wish we had more slaves.
He gets a letter.
Always a quick way to my heart, personally.
He gets a letter from...
So I'm hoping bad things happen to him.
He's Seanchan. They're all pretty into slavery. He gets a letter from a Raken flyer, a Morat Raken, which is a person who flies a Raken.
See, that would be cool.
Oh, yeah. And he's got this other guy with him named Jedranka.
Jedranka?
Jedranka.
Jedranka?
Jedranka.
Jedranka.
Okay. And we get a little backstory for Furyk Kharid. Do you remember Furyk Kharid's backstory?
Furyk Kharid.
Yeah. Which suggests to me that he might actually be around for more than one chapter. Because we get like a full page of his backstory.
We do get a page of his backstory, though that does not guarantee.
No, it does not.
We'll see him again. Because sometimes Robert Jordan likes to do that before he kills a character.
He does,
too.
yeah.
He started poor. This is Robert's favorite backstory. He started poor and clawed his way up. Yes? Very American.
One of his ancestors, a noble, had followed Luther Pendrag to Seanchan at Arthur Hawkwing's command.
But then he lost everything.
But 200 years later, with only the north secure, another ancestor tried to carve out a kingdom of his own and ended sold from the block instead. Perhaps it was so. Many Dakoval claimed noble ancestors. Among themselves, at least. Few of the blood found such chatter amusing. So, apparently, Dakoval, do you remember what a Dakoval is?
A Dakoval is just like a regular slave?
It's like a very high up...
Are they the ones that like killed themselves when What's-His-Face died?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're like very...
Started with the T.
Turok.
Turok, look at me.
I remember this because it's a game. It's a game. Turok Dinosaur Hunter was like a PS2 game.
A potentially much cooler ending for Turok.
Well, yeah. So Dakoval are basically like slave nobility almost.
Yes.
Like typically they will be very, very lofty owned people for the nobility. It's still slavery. Although this slavery seems to be more in line with the Roman kind of slavery than the we're going to make you a slave because of a particular trait you have slavery that the damane slavery is.
So like they were they're like a prisoner of war or like went into massive debt or something like that. Or
they did something dishonorable and they got made a slave. Like it's more of I don't like to use the word fluid, but it's kind of more of a fluid form of slavery.
Well, there are historically fluid forms of slavery. There were cultures where you could like buy your way out eventually or work your way out or, become part of the family or whatever.
It wasn't
necessarily a life
historical slavery.
It wasn't necessarily a life thing.
Yeah. I mean, it usually was actually, but like theoretically.
Yeah. They dangled a carrot in front of you about it. I think it's all bad. Once again.
Yeah, slavery's bad. Hot take.
And you know what? There are certain class levels that might look a little like indentured servitude. So here we are.
So Kharid, as a young person.
And again, just to say.
Yeah.
But it's not like slavery is a thing of the past.
No. Kharid, as a young person, was picked out by the choosers to be a member of the Death Watch Guard.
That's a badass name.
Yeah.
What is the Death Watch Guard? This is the funny thing about fantasy is that they'll, say these words and you're like, ooh, that sounds interesting. And then they're like, anyway, because they can't elaborate on everything.
Well, Kharid was Dakoval and proud of it. Like every man of the guard, the property of the Crystal Throne, body and soul. He fought where the Empress pointed and would die the day she said die. To the Empress alone did the guard answer, and where they appeared as her hand, a visible reminder of her. No wonder that some among the blood could become uneasy watching a detachment of guardsmen pass. A far better life than mucking out a lord's stables or serving calf to a lady. But he cursed the luck that had sent him into these mountains to inspect the outposts. I don't
know. I think any life where you don't get a choice, at least like some semblance of a choice, is maybe not so good.
So they're basically the Sardaukar.
Oh,
remember
yeah,
the Sardaukar?
Well,
the
I was thinking of like
they're like the Sardaukar.
I was thinking of like mercenaries.
Yeah, but like the Sardaukar.
What war am I thinking of where they were using mercenaries?
A lot of them.
There was something specific.
But they're not. I mean, they're not.
Like they got really fucked because they used mercenaries.
That's happened.
And then the mercenaries were like, we don't care about this battle. And then we learned a valuable lesson that day where like sometimes like people will stick around in battles because patriotism.
Well,
and believe that they're doing the right thing. And like sometimes having people who are just, purchased soldiers, they don't have an investment. So when shit gets hard, they're like, bye.
The band is a mercenary army because they work for coin. I would argue that the Death Watch Guard is the opposite of a mercenary army.
Sure.
Because they have no life outside of being sworn to this cause for this particular. They're like a combination of the Unsullied from Game of Thrones, except they're not eunuchs, and the Sardaukar from Dune. But I think they're more like the Sardaukar, by the way, are like the Emperor's Legion, and they're incredibly good soldiers.
Yeah, but they're basically their whole life is being a soldier.
Yeah, they are property owned by. Yeah,
I don't know. I just believe in a well-rounded life. That's all.
I like well-rounded lives
with choice involved.
Incidentally, are all of the Death Watch Guard human?
No, because there's Ogier.
Many Death Watch guards went without shirt or coat whenever possible to display those raven tattoos on his shoulders. Ogier gardeners were not marked or owned, but that was between them and the Empress.
But why are they getting involved? Because isn't there kind of thing like we try not to get involved, we just build stuff?
Over here, yeah. Apparently over there are Ogier gardeners. That's what they call the soldiers.
That sounds scary.
Gardeners, because they...
rip up?
They clear obstructions, right?
Terrifying.
Yes.
That's a lot.
So he's getting intel about Rand.
See, it's a society so scary that they converted the Ogier into something scary. Mm-hmm. They've got to be bad.
I wonder if, like, there weren't enough steadings on the other side of the ocean. So maybe, like, the blood had some kind of way to soothe the longing.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Maybe? I don't know. Because these Ogier are, like, marching around the world, right?
Yeah, so you'd think that... I mean, are the damane involved in that? Did they discover something that will help?
I don't know. Because I've thought about this. I'm like, why...
How?
Are they so different? And why do they apparently have a different core biological need? Or maybe not.
Well, I mean, they're on different continents, so maybe they evolved differently.
It's only been 3,000 years.
That's true.
I guess maybe they could be the descendants of the ones who didn't die of the longing.
Yeah, so they, like, bred out. I mean, the ones that didn't die got to breed, right? Simple.
Natural selection.
Mendel, Punnett Square shit.
So Jadranka, he's also there. He's being a whiny motherfucker. Nadok, who is another guy, is like, I don't like marching blind. Oh, right, there's Seanchan. I don't like marching blind, he muttered. Not when the Altarans have managed to put 40,000 men up here. 40 at least. And Jadranka goes, 40,000 or 100, Nadok. They're scattered from here to the end of the range. Too far apart to support one another. Stab my eyes, likely half a dead already. They must be tangling with outposts everywhere. That's why we aren't getting reports. We're just expected to sweep up the remnants. And Kharid is like, shut up. You're so stupid, dude. Like, just stop blustering. Foghorn, leghorn ass over here. Jeez, shut the fuck up.
Here, here.
And yeah, so Karita's like, we're not getting reports from the outposts.
That's bad.
That's bad, dude.
Yeah.
You're an idiot.
That means bad things have happened to the outposts. Obviously.
And Nadak is like, you think we're going to sweep up 5,000 men? We're not going to beat 5,000 men with brooms. And Jadranka goes, we'll crush them with swords or brooms. The light burned my eyes. I can hardly wait for a decent engagement. I told the scouts to press on until they found him. I won't have them slip him away from us. And Karita's like, beg your fucking pardon?
Mm-hmm.
You did what with the scouts? You told the scouts to not report back until they found people? So we're not going to get news if the area ahead of us is clear? We're just going to assume that it's clear? Unless the scouts got killed?
That's dumb.
You stupid, stupid asshole.
That's really, really stupid.
And then all of a sudden, the ground starts blowing up directly in front of them. Because who's here, Allie?
The Ashaman.
The Ashaman are here.
Yes, and they keep doing this thing. We've invented guerrilla warfare.
Yes.
Because, and again, when the people are like, there's no Vietnam trauma in this book. I side-eye just a smidge, respectfully, but with a smidge of side-eye, because I'm like, all right, that was a big part of that war, was that the enemy knew the terrain better than they did and struck when you weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they could see you before you saw them kind of deal. So the Ashaman are basically going through and stealthily clipping off all of these bands of Seanchan that are roving through. And this little group got very lucky that they did not join up with that group yet. Because they were thinking about it, weren't they? They were like, oh, there's a group over there. I thought. Or maybe it's in a bit.
This is a different thing. So they are currently getting attacked by Ashaman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Ashaman keep doing this thing where they're like sniping groups.
Yeah. They're
Effectively sniping groups.
Suddenly, shockingly, the ground began to erupt in roaring fountains all along the writhing snake of his command. Fountains that flung men and horses into the air as easily as dirt and stones.
Oh, also, landmines.
Lightning flashed out of the sky, white-blue bolts shattering earth and men alike. Other men simply exploded, ripped to shreds by nothing he could see. Did the locals have damane of their own? No, it would be those Aes Sedai. What are we going to do? Nadak said. He sounded shaken. As well he might. Do you think to abandon your men? Jadranka snarled. We rally them and attack you! He cut off, gurgling, as Kharid's sword point went neatly into his throat. There were times fools could be tolerated, and times not.
So, if Rand were a darker Rand, he would have done this to Weiramon by now.
Probably. Yeah.
And he's tempted. Here's the thing. I'm not saying I'm like, yeah, stab him in the neck. But he's not wrong about the fact that sometimes we have to be like, shut up to idiots. And sometimes we have to tolerate them.
Kharid goes, we rally what can be rallied, Nadak. Save what can be saved. And fall back. And they do that.
But don't stab anyone in the throat. That's not a good thing
That's a bad thing to do.
That's too far. A simple shut up would have probably sufficed, I think.
Mm-hmm. So we switch back to Rand, and how's Rand? He wants to vomit. How's Rand?
How's Rand ever, really?
Bad.
I mean,
he's got Flynn and Dashiva with him, but all the rest of the Ashaman are out blowing people up. And Dashiva is, muttering to himself. And, of course, Eilil and Anaiyella are still here. Your faves.
Well, they weren't until they were. Because at first, I was like, I can't tolerate these women. And this is not in a like, women who don't want to fight are bad. It's how you present that information that matters to me. It's like, are we furthering the cause for women or are we not furthering the cause for women?
We get some explosions nearby.
Like, I certainly would be useless in a battle situation. Absolutely. I would be trying to get out of that by any means necessary. But then all of a sudden, they're like, let's stab him while he's on the ground. And I'm like, all right, now I'm a little bit back on your team. Not in a, like, we should stab Rand way, just in a, like, all right, so you aren't completely useless and vapid. That's nice.
There's some battle nearby, and Anaiyella holds her breath and then releases it and then starts soothing her horse. And Rand is like, yeah, women, when they're stressed, they want to soothe other people.
That's not true for me.
Anyway, so, Rand keeps looking around.
I'm always like, maybe we shouldn't make broad, sweeping generalizations about gender. Anyway,
Yeah, no.
so, because there's like, we're talking about like half of the world's population. We're a varied group. I mean, here's the thing. If I would soothe like a child or an animal.
Well, she's soothing her horse.
But would you not also soothe the child when you were stressed? You'd be like, it's okay, honey. Like, I'm going to go, into the crawl space and figure out what's making that scary noise or whatever. Like, you would soothe a kid first because that's like called being an adult in the situation. But like, if it were another adult, I'd be like, soothe yourself. Like,
kind of.
Or we could soothe each other maybe, but I don't know.
So this guy comes back with a Suldam, and Rand is like, add her to the pile. And
he's not making himself look good.
The guy walks like 20 feet over there to make a gateway, and Rand is like, why the fuck are you making a gateway over there? And he's like, Sideen's really weird down here, and I've already made a gateway in this exact spot, so it's going to be a lot easier. But like, there's something really wrong with Sidene in this area that's making it so that I can't really do it easily. And
Rand hears that, and he's like, nonsense. Even though he can feel it himself. And I just go, that doesn't make you look tough.
He can't. He was like, is it different? I don't know. I feel like I'm going to hurl and my head hurts. So maybe, I don't know. I think this is totally normal.
No.
He's got...
Oh, so is he sick because of how...
Could be part of it.
Is the bowl causing the illness?
That could be part of it.
Or is it Morrigan? Or is it a combo?
Any combination of events like this?
Or is it that Sidene is getting worse?
Could be any...
The taint is getting worse.
Or that he's getting suffused with taint. I regret how I worded that.
Do you?
Yeah, a little bit. He's got 23 Suldam and 2 Damane and da-da-da-da-da.
Suffused with taint. Make it the title of the episode. Rand
takes count of his casualties. 31 defenders dead and 46 companions. More than 200 among the legion men and the nobles' armsmen. 7 soldiers and a dedicated. Men Rand had never met before they answered his summons in Ilion. Too many, considering that all except the gravest injury could be healed if a man could only hang on until there was time. But he was driving the Seanchan west. Driving them hard. And blowing up, and Rand has Flynn and Deshiva go and blow stuff up. And Flynn is like, were you going to be undefended, bud? And Rand is like, I've got these 2 women who, will totally... it's fine. Just go. Also, I can blow things up with my brain.
Well, now you're finally accepting women's help, but these 2 are not it. What? This is confusing. Rand, which is it? Are we accepting that women can protect you or not?
So what happens to Rand? He's thinking like, this was a bad battle plan. Charging from outpost to outpost was kind of stupid. I regret this. But anyway, and then...
Ooh. And then he gets shot.
Fucking shot. Again.
Has he been shot before? He's been shot at before.
He's been shot at several times.
But I don't think he's been shot. But he is still alive.
Yeah. And the crown falls off his head, by the way.
Symbolism.
And chips.
Symbolism. Is it clear what side it came from?
Yeah, because then a whole bunch of Seanchan charge out of the forest.
Oh, okay.
And Lews Theron goes, time to die!
No, not yet. But it will be at some point, probably.
And then Anaiyella rallies all of her armsmen. He goes, fight, you dogs! Fight!
Okay. If someone called me a dog, legit, I would not defend them. I would walk away. I'd be like, no, I don't need to do this, actually.
Anaiyella and Ailill kneel down next to Rand, and Anaiyella goes, if he dies on our hands, Bashere will hang both of us. Anaiyella certainly was not simpering now. If those black-coated monsters get a hold of us...
Pause. Bashere's been predicting Rand would get shot from, like, the beginning.
Yeah.
So he probably would be like, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus if you actively kill him, he's gonna have some feelings. But I'm thinking that there's a potential that like Weiramon and the rest of the Weiramon. It looks like Weiramon if you really like look at it kind of like your eyes have are closed.
Okay. Sure.
Weiramon, there's some underlying sneakiness going on about Rand, and I think it's a smashing attempt.
Might be.
Because I would assassinate him.
I'd be concerned, to say the least.
Well, there is a not impossible chance that Rand is talking about how Weiramon should be killed in front of Weiramon.
I'd say non-zero.
There's a non-zero chance. I mean, if I heard that, I'd be like, I should probably get the drop on him first. Am I wrong? And he's surrounding himself right now with people who don't like him.
Yeah, Rand.
Here's the problem with surrounding yourself with people that you don't like to fight something. They know you want them to die.
Yeah, and it was pretty transparent.
It was really transparent.
Because Eilil was like, hey, I know what you're doing. You don't have to do that. Like, I could be on your team if you really wanted.
This is not dying by the die very well. We're not Dias Day dying. Well, now we're Dias Day dying.
Yeah. Anaiyella goes, she's got a knife in her hand. And she goes, your lance captain could break off enough men to get us away. We could be miles away before he's found. And back to our estates by the time... I think he can hear us. Eilil broke in calmly.
That was a little dumb.
Her red-gloved hands moved at her waist, sheathing a belt knife or drawing one. If he dies here, and then all of a sudden, Bashere and all of his men show up, and he's like, hey, what the fuck are you two doing? Back up.
Why are you two standing over Rand with knives? He clocked that for sure, which makes me a little nervous, to be honest, about Bashere. I was really worried someone would stab him for that.
And
clocking that.
Eilil steps back and sheathes a belt knife, so she was drawing a knife.
Yeah, they were preparing to stab him.
Maybe.
So here's the thing. Again, we see the bad things about surrounding yourself in a potential situation where you could get injured with people who kind of are looking to pick you off and looking for an excuse. And a battle's a really good excuse.
Yep.
It's like, there's nothing we could do. Someone came up and slit his throat.
Yep.
I respected these women a lot more after this. Was I a fan of them wanting to kill our Randy? Of course not. But at least they were doing it for the women. They were furthering the cause.
So Fedwin Moore comes up.
But yeah, I was sorry. I don't mean to cut you off about Fedwin Moore, but I was really scared after Davram Bashere witnessed this.
Yeah, something's gonna happen to him.
Because he was not subtle about the fact that he witnessed that and he understood what was going on because he kept staring at them afterward.
Yes.
Every time they were near Rand.
Yes.
I was really worried someone was going to come up behind him and give him a little stabby stab.
Not out of the question.
Because in order to make sure that he was silent about it.
So Fedwin Moore comes up and heals Rand, and Lews Theron starts going, kill him! And, that's great. And before we get into discussing that, we're going to take a quick break for a couple of ads. Welcome back.
How about them ads?
Yes, so he's feeling better.
Yeah.
He's weak. He's not doing great.
Well, when is he ever, really? But for sure.
Incidentally, Fedwin Moore did a better job of half healing the scars than anybody else ever has. Yes, I saw you roll your eyes there, and yes, I know.
Well, when a man does it, man can man with the best of the men.
Remember when Nynaeve was the best healer of all time in the entire universe, but now Moore may or may not be a little better?
Well, of course he is. He's a man, Gus. Men are better at everything. We can't have a woman beating a man at something.
Weiramon comes back. My Lord Dragon, forgive me, my Lord Dragon. I thought I saw Seanchan advancing in front of the ridge and went to meet them. I never expected this other company. You can't know how it would pain me if you were injured. And Rand is like, oh, I'm sure you'd be very, very sad.
I think Weiramon's plotting against him. Luckily for Rand, Weiramon's an idiot. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna go poorly. But...
is Weiramon an idiot, or is he playing at being an idiot?
That's true. We did think that the other women were idiots. Maybe they're all not idiots. And it's true that, who was it? Davram stumbled upon them talking? Upon Weiramon talking to someone.
No, it was Saigon. Bertome Saigon.
Was talking to Weiramon?
Stumbled upon Weiramon talking to some guy.
I was so sure that was like the last thing he'd ever do.
Yeah.
I was like, get out of there right now. You just stumbled upon an assassination discussion because Rand has not done well socially.
No.
Recently.
No.
I don't think.
No.
Like,
No.
I think he thinks he's a lot better at the Dias Daemar than he is lately.
Probably.
But yeah, that could be true. It could be that Weiramon is playing dumb. But he's been playing dumb for a long time. So if that's the case, then he's been planning to assassinate Rand from the get. Which is possible.
Maybe. I mean,
Right? It's possible.
not out of the question.
Because he's from the Stone, right? And Rand has made some waves at the Stone.
That's why he had to get the Aiel in Book 4. The whole reason he went to get the Aiel is because he took the stone and he was like, I'm gonna be killed.
Yeah.
I need an army.
So it's quite possible that Weiramon's just been playing at being a dumbass friend of his this whole time. That would be
Big brain Weiramon over here.
next level shit on Weiramon's part. Because he looked really pissed for a minute at what's his face?
Bertome.
Bertie. He looked really pissed at Bertie for a second, and then he like snapped out of it into like a grin.
Yeah. So Bashere's like, hey, good news. They're on the run. That was like the last gasp attempt. They're on the run. We won. They're fleeing. They're retreating. Maybe not a rout. Maybe a rout. But yeah, they're out of here, man. We're good. We did it.
Victory.
We crushed this shit.
Great. Spanked him. And Rand goes, let's keep chasing them.
Gedwin strode up then, leading his horse carelessly, insolently. He almost sneered at Bashere and Gregorin, frowned at Weiramon as if already knowing the man's blunder, and eyed Ailill and Anaiyella as though he might pinch them.
Ew.
The two women drew back from him hastily, but then so did the men, except for Bashere. Even more.
That's hot
MORR
energy
more.
from Bashere.
Gedwin's salute to Rand was a casual tap of fist to chest. I sent
like
scouts out as soon as I saw this lot was done. There are 3 more columns inside 10 miles, and Bashere goes, all headed west. You've done it. They're all falling back. I doubt they'll stop short of Abu Dar. Campaigns don't always end with a grand march into the city. And this one is finished.
I agree.
And Weiramon goes, no, take Abu Dar for the glory of the Lord Dragon.
This is interesting. He might be faking all of this. I'm fascinated by Weiramon now in a way that I never was before.
But
Because if he's faking it, then he's a genius.
But it was certainly a shock to hear Gedwin say he would not mind taking a few more swipes at these Seanchan, and he certainly would not mind seeing Abu Dar. Even Ailill and Anaiyella added their voices in favor of putting an end to the Seanchan once and for all, though Ailill did add that she would as soon like to avoid having to return to finish.
Okay, here's the deal. So, this is what makes me mad. We've got 2 people who you were awake when they were trying to potentially stab you. You've got Weiramon, who you constantly think of as a frickin' moron. You have Gedwin, who a second ago you clocked might be kind of assailant-y.
Not a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, and you also saw him like try to kill you once, remember? Because you didn't let him kill Gawain. So obviously this is the Rand fan club. On the other hand, you have Davram Bashere, who constantly side tackles you whenever you do something stupid and has your best interest at heart and is the father-in-law of your best friend's wife. So he's got
Father of your best friend's wife. Father-in-law of your best friend.
That's what I meant. You're the father-in-law of your best friend. So obviously we gotta go with the people who keep trying to kill you.
Only Bashere and Gregorin spoke for turning back and raised their voices. They did increasingly as Rand stood silent.
So these 2 are your friends, right? These 2 are your friends who are like, we just want what's best for you. Let's go home before you do anything stupid.
We did do what we came for, Gregorin insisted. Light's mercy, do you think to take Abu Dar itself? Take Abu Dar? Rand thought. Why not? No one would expect that. A total surprise for the Seanchan and everybody else.
You just were shot, my man.
Times are you seize the advantage and ride on, Bashere growled. Other times you take your winnings and go home. I say it's time to go home.
Yeah. When you have a 20 on blackjack, you don't hit again. Am I wrong?
I would not mind you in my head, Luz Therin said, sounding almost sane, if you were not so clearly mad.
Okay, so if Luz Therin is vibe checking you, maybe we go home.
Abu Dar. Rand tightened his hand on the dragon scepter, and Luz Therin cackled. And I like to believe that Rand also, at this point, goes,
Stop doing that. Stop it. Stop with the laughing. So here's my thing. The people who keep wanting to kill him, I mean, I think they're viewing these battles as an opportunity to get him killed.
Probably.
Am I wrong?
It is a messy campaign in a densely wooded, sloped area that is very wet.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. A fucking tree could fall on him.
Rand just got shot. This is the dumbest thing he could possibly be doing. He has just done something so dumb that he beat Matt.
This is worse than Dagger?
This is worse than Dagger, in my mind. Is it not?
No, I think it is.
Once he gets Calendar out, it's worse than Dagger.
Once he gets Calendar out, it's worse than almost anything else that's happened so far. I would argue there are some decisions made later in the series that are worse.
Oh, I'm sure.
That you get to look forward to.
Oh, I'm sure. But Matt's dagger has always been, in my mind, peak dumbassery in the Wheel of Time. And Rand just supplanted that handily. Matt owes him a thank you note because I'm about to stop grilling Matt all the time and going, actually, Matt might be the smartest of the three of you.
He might be at this point in some ways.
Well, he does also have like a bunch of really brilliant advisors in his head, whereas Rand has, you know, wild Uncle Lou. But yeah. And then Perrin's just got, you know, smelling a lot.
My wife. By the way, for the record, I find Perrin's complete obsession with his wife relatable. But it's also like you need to also make space for other things.
It's true. It's true. She can't be your whole identity. But I do think he does need to accept his wolfishness at some point.
What? No, Allie, I think we should just take that whole element of his character, you know, that I'm a magic-ish wolf, kind of werewolfy wolf brother, teen wolf guy, and I can also planeswalk. I don't think we need that.
Robert Jordan's thesis, Robert Theron.
Theron.
Robert Jordan's thesis for this is not, I think, going to be, like I've said before, bury the things about you that make you nervous.
Yeah. No, I don't think we need any of the really cool stuff. I think we need Perrin to walk around.
Look for his kidnapped wife.
She has not even been kidnapped.
It's gonna happen.
All right.
If he's this obsessed with her.
Anyway, that's the end of chapter 23. Chapter 24, Allie, A Time for Iron. It is not now, but Rand sure thought it was. Here's the box.
Here's the box.
I mean the chapter logo, which is the box.
I knew this was a bad idea from the beginning. Yeah, I want this on record. I was like, do not chase them. You won.
Yes. Do you have notes?
There's a reason why when you win a soccer game, you high five at the end. You don't then run the players off the field.
Do you have notes for chapter 24?
I do.
All right.
Aw, they suck at walking. The Racken do.
Yeah. There's big,
I just
clumsy
imagine them like
duck walking
it's
things.
So cute. I mean, because the Racken aren't like the Nazgul, right? They're not like scary. What's
they
the
totally
monster
are.
of the Nazgul called?
Fell Beast.
The Fell Beast.
Yeah.
Because I always thought they were the Nazgul, and then like the
everybody
ring
thought that.
wraiths were the riders.
Yes.
But they're the Nazgul.
Yes.
But they're also the ring wraiths.
Yes.
Why did we need multiple names?
Because Tolkien was a linguist and he made multiple languages.
Dear J.R.
R.
What the fuck? R. Tolkien.
J.R.R.
Oh, sorry.
It doesn't matter.
I forgot the extra R.
Yeah.
I knew I was doing something wrong. I could tell when it came out. I was like, J.R. seems wrong. J.R. Tolkien, that seemed wrong. But everyone knows to become a writer, you have to have two middle names. Everyone knows it.
It's like George R.R.
I know. You must have two R middle names.
Well, I think he only did that to evoke Tolkien.
Really?
I believe so.
That makes sense.
I could be wrong.
Anyway. Maybe Suroth is getting information from the Black Tower. Seems like it.
Could be.
Oh, she definitely is.
Could be. So you think
There's a plot afoot.
you think there's dark friends at the Black
Yes,
Tower?
here's what's going on. All right. We've got the people who keep trying to kill Rand, who for some reason he decides to listen to, even though they have not earned it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because here's my thing. I'm like, listen to your friend who cares about you and wants you to live. He has a vested interest in you living because his daughter's life is kind of on the line. Am I wrong?
Talking about Davy?
Yeah. If Rand dies, you think that they're going to stop with Rand?
No.
They're going to wipe that whole group out.
Probably.
Yeah. Daddy Dav has a vested interest in keeping you alive versus the people who just were talking about whether or not they could kill you and get away with it in front of you.
Not so good.
By the way, we're never going to address that.
They're women.
I'm trying to control my rage. I just did some real therapy exercises just now. I literally moved my body away from the situation.
She did.
Did you see it happen?
I did watch it.
I went, Allie, they're fictional people. They're
not
fictional
real.
people. They're not real. They cannot have this kind of power over you. Okay. All right. So it seems like there's some kind of thing going on between like Suroth and some of the Seanchan, some of Rand's people team, regular people team, Weiramon included, the Black Tower since Weiramon was talking to them, probably Mazrim Tayyim's group.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, he was talking to Gedwin. That was it.
Also, if they seem too loyal to Rand, what is stopping Mazrim Tayyim from slipping something in their cup and claiming that they were going crazy?
Nothing. But Rand also took like 15 of them and was like, these are mine. You can have the other 100 and 200, 300, 400. I've got these 15.
No, I know, but if they come being like, can't wait to serve the Lord Dragon, like what's stopping him from going like, he was trying to run away. I murdered him.
Nothing.
That's all I'm saying.
Look.
What's stopping him from curating the group?
Has Rand handled the Black Tower well from day one? No. He's never handled the Black Tower well at all.
And my thing is I'm just like, he could have, I mean, there's a lot going on. He's got all of these people around him that he's not utilizing effectively. Like he sent Barrelane away. This would have been Barrelane's forte, dealing with the Terrabonners, no?
The Terrabon?
Like just sussing them out and figuring out which ones of them are going to try to kill Rand.
The Terrabon? What Terrabonners?
Isn't that, or Alia and...
Oh, Eilil and Anaiyella? Just all the lords and...
Yeah.
This
would have been great for her.
They would have tried to kill her.
Okay, like she's not used to that everywhere she goes. Like that's not going to be true everywhere she goes.
I think Barrelane's political acumen mostly extends to keep myself alive, and if I can't, then rabbit.
Well, that would be really helpful for Rand to learn how to do. Keep himself alive. He's been shot, stabbed, shot at 2 more times.
But Barrelane's thing is, if I can't keep myself alive in a situation, I will rabbit.
What do you mean she'll rabbit?
She runs. Yeah.
No, she doesn't.
She did.
When?
In book 6. Things got dicey and she vanished.
In the Stone of Tear?
No, in book 6, in Kyrian.
She vanished in Kyrian? When was this? I don't remember this happening at all.
When shit was getting dicey, she was nowhere to be found. And then she became Colavir's maidservant. Remember this?
Well, that was the smart move.
Yeah, but she dipped when she was like, I'm gonna get my assassin radars going off. I'm out of here.
As she should.
Sure, but Rand can't do... And that means, like, if she went into this situation, she'd be like, well, they're all gonna kill me. I'm out.
I think he could use her assassin radar a little bit, though.
Yeah, true.
Well, she got mad when he was sending her away because he thought she was going to get assassinated, though. She doesn't just dip. She made herself scarce, yes, at a time where that was the correct move, and then came back when she knew that she could get a handle on the situation.
I'm not criticizing.
And then turned it around.
I love Barrelane. I think that her background, though, does not lend itself... She's a good Castellan, right?
Yeah.
She was a good sovereign. Or I know sovereign's not there. She's a good Castellan of... Or Castellan, I don't know how to say it. Of Kyrian. And she's good at this current task she's got. And she would have been good to remain Castellan of I'm saying it every different way I can. Of Kyrian. But, like... I don't think this particular situation plays to her strengths, also in part because she's much better at manipulating men. There's a lot of women who...
She manipulated Colavir just fine.
She sucked up to Colavir.
Yeah, that's manipulating Colavir.
All right, no, you're right.
She was getting information like Faye was. They both thought the same thing. They were both doing the same thing.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Why are you... What? Attack! Barrelane stands attack.
I love Barrelane. I just don't think this task would have been a good one for her.
I think that Fail and Barrelane would, in the future, not this particular moment, but now he's surrounded himself with people who might want to, Barrelane would have probably told him, hey, if you use all of the people that you are clearly trying to get killed, they're going to know that you're trying to get them killed.
Yes,
that would have been helpful.
Probably, yes.
Or, I don't know, Cadsuane might have seen that coming. Cerelia might see that coming.
Rand's not in the habit of taking
Rourke
advice.
might see that coming. Davern Bashere might see that coming. Like, he just needs to tell the people who actually have his best interests at heart. And I understand that he doesn't necessarily know who those people are, but I think some of them have proven themselves.
I think Rand is also now at the point where he's decided that he doesn't want to take advice from anybody except the people who are telling him what he wants to hear.
But see, that's dumb. I think real leadership is best idea wins.
Oh, no, you're right. He's not doing a good job.
Yeah, leadership is best idea wins.
Yeah.
It should be. So it's like, all right, let's open it up to ideas. Who's got a good idea? All right, cool. Let's go with that. I think that a combination of Cadsuane, Cerelia, Davern Bashere, Rourke, all who have like decades of leadership, right? Let's value the experience of older people for a reason, right? You're 20 years old. Your frontal cortex hasn't even fully fucking developed. And I'm not saying that people who are 20 can't, save the world. But I am saying that people who are 20 and anyone can't save the world by themselves.
Yeah.
So those four would be useful. Let's see. We sent away Barrelane, who's also useful. We sent away Fail, who's also proven herself.
We sent away Matt, who would be great in this situation.
Matt, who would be fucking great in this situation. Elaine, who would be great at sussing out diplomatic shit. Like, why are we sending away the most and ignoring the most useful people?
Elaine would have been really good in this situation.
He says he's going to use his friends, and then he doesn't actually do it. He sends them away.
He delegates them away.
At the very least, use Min as a sounding board.
Admittedly, the task he set Perrin on appears to be, important, but also like... Was it Perrin level important?
Yeah, at the very least, I would grab Min and just like point her at people.
Yeah.
And be like, who's trying to fucking kill me? Like, let's try and suss this out.
Put her in a plexiglass box.
Yeah, and just like bring people constantly in front of her.
Which he did. He did that in Kyrian.
He did do that, but he hasn't been doing that in a minute. Has he?
No, he's
and
just
she could be one of the most useful people to him. She has like a hold on the pattern a smidge.
A little bit.
A little bit.
She's got a little bit of
I'd be constantly
foresight.
like, tell me what's above my head. Do not lie to me. I will find out.
Yeah.
So do not lie to me that you don't know what's going on.
When is the last time we saw Min? Have we seen her this book?
Were they screwing? Was that the last time we saw her? Because if so, I'm annoyed.
I think the last time we saw Min was...
was when he was like, I think I raped you. And she was like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, in book 7. Have we
and
not
I was
seen
like,
her this
well,
whole book?
this is why being clear about consent is super important.
I don't
Anyway.
think we've seen her this whole book.
No. And my thing is she's really useful too. She's been doing a lot of book research. Research is helpful. She's useful. She could be useful in so many ways. He doesn't even use her in ways that are useful. Like, he constantly is like going, I have to use my friends. And I'm like, then use them. They have a lot of like abilities at their disposal. I would be like, Perrin, you've got that weird nose. Smell them. Do they smell off?
Yep.
Do their intentions smell weird? I'd literally have Min and Perrin standing next to me at the throne and have them give me vibe checks.
He sent Matt on a fetch quest.
Yeah. And where's Matt? Where is Matt during a point where Matt would be so useful? Matt would turn to him and go, okay, all of the commanders in my head are telling me that this is a bad freaking idea. I've just watched this play out in a bunch of different wars, and it always goes shittily.
By the way,
He's a Rolodex of information, and you just sent him to go babysit some girls who don't need to be babysat?
We're on page 516.
And by the way, they've got like 45 different babysitters.
Oh, yeah. They have so many babysitters.
Even if they did need a babysitter, they don't need a legion of babysitters.
Haven't seen Matt this book yet.
Mm-hmm. What about the wise ones? Like, they're called wise ones for a freaking reason. We're not using any of their knowledge.
He didn't bring any of the Aiel on this, did he?
No maidens, nobody.
Why did he... I mean, I get it.
He brought all the people he likes the least, hoping that they would die, and then he wouldn't feel bad about it. Which is dumb, because now he's left himself exposed to a potential assassination.
Well, I think, admittedly, he thought that he would be able to do this as surgical strikes with the Ashaman. But now he's talking about sieging a city.
The Aiel would have been really good.
The Aiel would have been very... But I think
and we've got gateways.
Also...
We can't pop back and go, hey, I need... So now that we've got gateways too, he's got no excuse for not using people. Even if they're needed somewhere else, he could gateway to them and go, hey, by the way, I need something.
Yeah, he could.
And we've talked about how, but you can't because like you could cut someone in half. Well, then he could gateway above them, make sure he's not going to gateway onto somebody, go, look out, I'm going to gateway right in front of your mirror. And then he gateways in front of the mirror. He comes out. This is why I should rule the world. Yeah. But he comes out. He's like, hey, so I need your Rolodex of advice.
I think we already have seen this. Some areas, they have traveling grounds. They have like whole rooms that are set apart solely for the purpose of gating into and out of.
All right, here's what I would do. Here's how I would use everyone. Okay. We got to get Matt and Dav together.
They would be great together.
They're my Matt, Dav, Rourke. They're my like battle task force.
Yeah.
Okay. We put them all together. We're like, all right, strategize. Like you're going to be a think tank of like what I need to do battle wise. Okay. Yeah. You three. All right. Then we take Cadsuane, Cerelia, and the wise ones. And any Aes Sedai that I could possibly trust, which I take Elaine, put those three in a room together, right? Put that group in a room together and go, okay, you are my diplomacy task force.
Admittedly, Elaine doesn't
Barrelane.
Yeah.
Throw Barrelane in there
Admittedly, Elaine doesn't want to do that right now because she wants to consolidate her rule over Andor.
Elaine doesn't want to do that right now?
Elaine is kind of busy trying to get her crown, right? Because she has a duty she believes to.
I get it. That can be part of the diplomacy task force, though. That can be part of the diplomacy task force. It's like, all right, how do we help Elaine navigate that?
Sure. And admittedly, he could have, gateway in meetings.
Yeah, but this is what I would do. I take Cadsuane, I take the wise ones, I take, including Cerelia, I take Elaine, and I take Barrelane. I put them all in a room and be like, y'all need to be my diplomacy task force. Y'all are like in charge of different groups and you understand how these groups work. How do I piss them off the least? How do I like keep an eye out for who might assassinate me?
Yeah.
Right. And how do I navigate difficult social issues? Right. Yeah. That's my diplomacy task force / like get Elaine to be on the throne of Andor.
Yeah.
Right. So that she doesn't have to do it alone because she's 20 years old.
She might be 19.
And Avienda can be involved and then they can, and put Birgitta on the battle strategy task force. Excellent.
Yeah.
Lan can go there too.
See, what I keep coming back to is you can't split up these people. And then I remember we have Magic Zoom.
We have Magic Zoom. I'm saying
5 different ways to magically conference call.
Just let them do breakout rooms on the Magic Zoom. And then, okay.
I think it would be fun. Oh, what'd be really funny? Is if you just like Jedi Council style, you had a room with chairs and you just opened gateways in front of everybody. Yes. So everybody could sit in their homes and chat through the gateways.
This is what I'm saying.
And then you could do that.
So here's my task force. So I've got my diplomacy task force. Then I take Min and maybe if I think I can trust Varen, right? Or some of the Browns, like try and suss out with, by the way, my Perrin and my Min, I try to suss out which Browns I think I can at least trust a little.
Yeah.
Right? Like if they've got a raven over their head, probably not. If they've got like a weird something, probably not. I keep Perrin and Min just next to me at all times for vibe checks. And I literally...
Especially, remember...
Oh, Fael can go on the diplomacy task force too.
Yeah.
And I just look at Fael and Barrelane and go...
Get over it.
You kiss, actually.
Yeah.
That would be fine. And I'm like, you know what? Saving the world is a little more important than who owns husband. Also, Barrelane, I'm sending you to HR.
Yeah.
Then we've got, again, Min and some Browns I think I can trust. And I'm like, research everything about prophecy, everything that I need to know about what has been said about being the Dragon Reborn. See if you can get any warning signs, out. When Min is not, actively next to me telling me if I should vibe check with people. I'm like, when you're not doing that, like when I'm like getting a pee, read a book, tell me what I need to look out for. And then who am I missing?
Lan, 90.
Lands on the task
Council.
Force. On the War Council task force. Then, great. I get Nynaeve. I grab some yellows to pass the Min and Perrin vibe check. And I go, okay, Nynaeve, y'all start researching how to deal with the taint shit. probably is going to need a healing. If not, then we'll let the book nerds handle it. All right. You guys look into everything we need to know about taint shit. And then I get Mazrim in a room and I'm like, all right, I think that you're actively trying to murder me. So maybe we depose you just a smidge until I know I can trust you. I get like Min and Perrin to do a vibe check. They're going to tell me that he's not to be trusted. Right. Obviously. So I'm like, okay, thank you so much for your time. Here's a pink slip. Let's put Logain in charge because I think that since Nynaeve healed his shit, he might be a little bit more invested in us.
Maybe. Probably.
Maybe. And if not, great. I do like 15 minutes a day check in to make sure everything's up to my liking.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I can't fire Mazrim, at least I'm like, okay, great. You two get to share responsibilities.
That's the other thing too is
so that they're not just interested in one person.
Rand is pretty inconsistent, and I think it makes sense. Mm-hmm. But Rand is pretty inconsistent with who he will just break the rules, depose, and who he will not. Because Colivir has been crowned. Everybody knows she has been crowned. She is publicly the queen of Kyrian. Mm-hmm. They've been having orgy parties celebrate the Queen Day for a week. Mm-hmm. Rand comes back, rips the crown off her head, breaks it in half, and then says, you're going to live on a farm now. Mm-hmm. No problem. Weiramon is not the king of anything. Mm-hmm. Is an annoying asshole that Rand hates. Doesn't do anything to him.
Yep.
Taim, Rand hates, doesn't trust, is getting so many red flags, doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. Admittedly, I think it is possible that's because Colivir went too far with her thing, but I'm also like, Rand, now is the time to do something.
Yeah. Like, I think that Rand at this point needs to realize, like, his main job is not actually to, like, do all of it. His main job is to set up the groups necessary to like create the brain trust. Like he's the unifier. He's like, okay, you guys have to work together. You all have to work together. Y'all have to work together. Y'all have to work together. I'm sorry if you have bad shit. You need to get over it because otherwise humanity is fucked. And that is going to have to be more important to you. Mm. That is just going to have to be more important to you than like your husband or like some beef or, you know, whatever. And I'm going to like grab Elaine. I'm going to Egwene. I'm going to grab Logain. I'm going to be like, eventually, probably male magic and woman magic are going to have to work together to solve this shit. I'm just assuming because this is a book that is what's going to have to happen because that was like what caused this mess in the first place. So y'all need to start working together. Let's get the Black Tower and the White Tower at least on terms where they can like be like cordial. Let's get cordial. We're going for neutrality here. We're not going for besties. We're going for like non-reactivity.
It's like a dog,
another.
Right?
Yes.
It's like when you have a dog and it's
saying.
like you don't have to love each other, but you have to be able to sniff each other's butts and then walk away.
But you have to realize both of your asses are smote if we don't get this done.
Now, I must interject and say you've hit upon Robert Jordan's entire thesis, among other theses, which is that people do not work this way.
I'm saying we do
selfish.
Zero tolerance policy for bullshit. We're like, nope, we are throwing that right out. Because this is what the dragon can do. He's like, we have a zero tolerance policy for any petty infighting or bullshit. We are all toward one goal. I am the person that is leading us toward the goal. Everyone look at me. I'm the goal. You make me happy. We will save humanity. All right. Everybody else, everything else, let's put it on a pause. We're putting it on a pause. We're realizing we got to put humanity first just this once. And then once the world gets fixed, we can go back to our petty bullshit. But this is the one time we all need to be linearly focused on a goal. And that's Rand's job. He's like, I'm taking you linearly toward the goal. And then I will delegate all the tasks to the people who are experts at the task. But I am the one who is spearheading us toward the goal.
Yeah.
And everything is toward the goal. Best idea wins. Don't care who it comes from. If Oliver has a good idea, great. We go with Oliver's idea. It's not personal. We just realize that's the best idea in the room.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Us petty infighting got us in this mess. We are not doing it again.
You've successfully described the reason Jordan wrote the books is that what you're describing, according to him, is impossible.
I don't think so. I don't think it is. I think you need one person that's like, enough of the bullshit. But they have to be able to come out and say it. They're like, just shut the fuck up.
Well, he did that with Aegon Pedros. He said, fuck your bullshit, you're helping me. And then Aegon Pedros tried to kill him.
Well, that's because he did it wrong.
That's true.
All right? He did it wrong. Because he said, fuck your bullshit, which I was like, yes, fuck your bullshit, you're helping me. And then you go, I'm not trying to kill you. I like you. Let's figure out a way to work together in a way that works. Like, you'll have to compromise sometimes, obviously. Like, Fail and Barrelane, we got to sit them in a room and make them talk it out.
Yeah.
All right? That's going to be one of the priority number one.
I think they should kiss.
I think maybe they should. You know what? We need more kissing. No. I think we gotta, you know what? And a good way to do it, you just start, listen, inevitably with the Terrabonners and the whatevers and the
Eridamani.
all of them, you just like start finding like get the youths to start hanging out, and then they'll be like, this is dumb. The youth is the future. No, but I'm like, you're a youth. Like, do a cool unity concert like they did in Pawnee in Parks and Recreation. We'd sing 10,000 Candles in the Wind to Little Sebastian.
Yeah.
Get a mini horse out there. Like, make the youths bond, right?
We don't have enough time. Less battles coming.
We've been sitting on our asses plenty.
That's true.
No, we don't have enough time if it's just Rand.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We have plenty of time if everybody gets their collective shit together. Right? But that's Rand's job. Rand's job is to organize, and everybody else's job, and we can have the diplomacy Aja checking in on how that's doing. And we have the diplomacy Aja going around to the other groups and going, all right, how we doing? Can we make this work? Can we, do we need to report anything to HR? Does Rand need to come in and demote somebody publicly to embarrass them? Like, what do we need to do? What are the consequences? Let's make the consequences also very clear and consistent across the board. Maybe we don't make it so much death.
You just said, I'm sorry. You just said that it has to be clear and fast, do this or you're fucked. And then you said no death.
Do this, you get stripped of your land, your titles, and everything. You get thrown in fucking jail until
and then
you're
resentful, and then you foment rebellion.
Not if you're in jail, you can't talk to anybody.
What if you have 500 people in jail? What if the jailers are like, maybe this is bad? I agree with you in theory. I just want to point out that there are some places your actions are heading that could be considered despotic and tyrannical.
Well, we will figure out the consequences as a group. We will all agree. We'll sign a contract beforehand. We're like, what are the reasonable consequences of your actions if you fail to put humanity before your own stupid interests? And so, so this is, we got to gentle parent these people. We got to establish clearly with them what the consequences are going to be that seem like an equitable, fair consequence. And then we are consistent in meting out those consequences.
You want to finish off your notes?
And we make them all sign a contract that they're going to behave themselves. And if they don't, they sign the contract. They know what happens if they don't behave themselves. We gentle parented them.
Look, I like the idea of making every single leader of every nation sign a contract.
That's just like we're going to have good vibes.
Bring the Black Tower in. Bring the Aiel in. Make them all sign this document. Or else Rand says, fuck you, I'm not doing it. But do you really think they're all going to go for that?
Well, if they were smart, they would. I will literally go, okay, do you want to die? Do you want to die? Probably fire in fire. Do you want to die?
Some of them might prefer that. What do you do then?
Well, then you go, oh, the fuck you then. You don't get to be a part of the Save the World Task Force. But we are going to have cool t-shirts.
And they're free.
Everyone loves free t-shirts.
People will do almost anything for a free t-shirt.
Honestly, I would walk on hot coals for a free t-shirt.
And they'll say, I walked on hot coals and all I
got was this t-shirt. I saved the world and all I got was this t-shirt. Yeah. We're going to put it on our merch. I saved the world and all I got was this t-shirt. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have a cool badge and a cool t-shirt.
Do you want to finish out your notes for this chapter? Now that we're half an hour in?
I'm just saying.
I'm in. I love it.
I think he could delegate better. Egwene would have done it in 4 books. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, she'd have tried.
What?
She would have. I think her tactics would have been different. Would they have been more or less effective? We'll never know.
Oh, Swan could go in the diplomacy group too.
She could.
Swan could go in there. Lyanna could go in there. Yeah, we'd have task force all over. We would have these task forces. And then everybody feels useful. Everyone has a job. Everyone knows what their job is.
Yeah.
And keep them busy so they don't have time to scheme. We're still touching Narishma's package, huh?
Got hands all over that bad boy. Just rubbing it, fingering it,
So Robert Jordan dropped the word peroration, and I went, peroration? Pop off GRE flashcards. Rand, maybe you should have brought more than one person you liked on this campaign.
Would have been a good idea.
I mean, honestly, if I were Daddy Dav, I'd be like evaluating my situation. I'd be like, why did he bring
you hate
everyone
all of
he
these
hates
guys, and you brought me?
Do you hate me as well?
What's going on?
What's going on? Do we need to chat? This is porn.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what, but we'll get there. That's a great band name. Couldn't tell you what it was.
We'll figure it
out.
And then you spent the rest of the chapter with your hands over your face, going, no, 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 no.
And confirm for the audience, for our listeners, that I knew what was coming before it happened. I was like, oh,
had
fuck.
a pretty good read. Rand said, I can do it. And she went, oh my God, it's Kalendor, and he's going to napalm the forest.
So dumb. So Vietnam.
Yeah, it's
so dumb and bad.
Rough. All right, we're gonna take a quick pause, and we're gonna jump in.
Okay, and I use this break to think about it even more. Like,
Welcome back.
How do we incentivize people? Because I know people are selfish, right? That's what people are going to write. They're going to be like, Robert Jordan understood that everyone's selfish. I totally get that, right? People are selfish. What do people want more than anything? To feel important, right? To feel celebrated, to feel praised, to feel like their contributions are appreciated. So great. Every day we celebrate a new member of the group. We just go, so-and-so did an amazing job getting out of bed this morning. Like, clap, parade them through the street, right? We all have a lunchtime parade break. Everyone loves a goddamn parade. Or something.
Yeah,
we just find a way to like celebrate them in a moment. We give them a little promotion or a little title, right? And yeah, we just like keep making people feel important. Your job as Dragon Reborn is to amp people up and keep them linearly focused. Like down to the kid that does your dishes, right? You're like, you are going to be in the history books for being the dishwasher of the Dragon Reborn. Is it true? Who cares?
Well, that's what, in book 2 or 3, Swan sucks up to Laris by saying we should formalize the title Mistress of the Kitchens.
And then what does Laris do? Let Swan out of jail.
Yeah.
I'm saying, because Swan did 2 things, right? Swan gave Laris a task, which was make men pretty, which suited Laris's strengths.
Yeah.
Right? And helped them do something with men, right? Keep men a secret. And she gave her a title.
Yeah.
And praised her for her hard work. That's all people fucking want. They want to feel important. They want to feel like their contributions are valued. So Rand's new job becomes amp everyone up and keep them linearly focused on the goal.
Well, this is another thing, but I'm just going to slowly merge this more and more towards real world examples, I guess. It's like when you work at a company and the company doesn't want to actually pay you what you're worth, doesn't actually want to appreciate you, but they want you to stay around and not look for something else, but they don't want to pay you more. What do they do?
They give you a new title.
And they may not pay you more, and I think there's kind of a shady, weird thing to do,
bullshit.
but regardless, it works. Similar, it works on a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a freaking psychological thing. They want to feel like you are like moving forward, making progress, You know what I would do to Weiramon? I would go to Weiramon and go, oh my God, you know what? I'm going to give you the most important job in the world that will really play to your strengths. And you're going to be in the history books for this, okay? What am I going to do? Every day, you need to rehearse with the men how to charge.
I'm going to make you the executive vice president of charging.
You're telling me that guy would not totally go for that?
He would come in his pants.
You're telling me that would not get him out of my hair?
He'd go, you can't call me that. I'll ejaculate straight through that. Which is the Laszlo Craven's word.
Yes. So you're telling me, like, if we made him, chief officer charging, he would not be like, I'm not going to try to kill you anymore?
Actually, a Futurama joke. At one point, Fry is complaining about not having had any forward advancement. And Farnsworth says, well, what if we made you the executive delivery boy? Or Hermes, I think, says that. And then someone says, what's the difference? Why does he have executive delivery boy? And Hermes goes, it's a meaningless title to make people feel better about themselves. And then the credits, which have been rolling through the beginning, say executive producers and list the EPs.
That's so
And
funny.
Rand goes, I love it. I'm an executive delivery boy.
We all know executive producer is a title that can mean anything.
Literally anything in film.
I
remember once, when I worked in an office, I I was mystified by the fact that almost everybody in the office was a vice president. And I was like, can't there only be one vice president how is there an associate vice president, senior vice president, executive vice president, senior executive vice president? I was like, how does this work? And I asked somebody, and they said, no, it has no actual meaning. Mm-hmm. You're not like vice of anything. It's just, we just make you a vice president when you get a promotion.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying just hand out.
I'm not saying this is like a good thing necessarily.
No, but I'm saying for the interest of the world, just hand out title bumps like they're candy.
Absolutely.
People will do a lot of shit for that. And you know what? They also get a promotion, like a pin or something.
Yeah.
Much like in the tower.
That's the Black Tower.
All those people want to do this for the pin. I bet you some people just come for the pin.
Do you think that people who cosplay as Ashaman are doing just the collar? They're getting they're getting the sword pin and the dragon pin, man.
Everyone wants a pin.
You saw tons of them at Jordan Con. People always love to
show their
that.
families. Like, everyone wants that shit. Everyone wants to go home and be like, oh my God, Mom, I was the best dishwasher of the day. Here's my fucking, like, commemorative plate. Like, you know what? You gotta, like, do the carrot, and then they have the stick that they all agreed to as a consequence. And then you have Perrin and Min vibe check everybody. Like, just their job is just go around to each group and vibe check everybody and see how they're getting along.
It goes back to, like, kindergarten when you get a gold star. And it's all you want to talk about. You go home and you tell your parent or whoever, I got a gold star today, and it's all you can think about.
I would do literally anything for a gold star. You know what's really real? I still remember as a 30-year-old woman that I finally was able to do all of the monkey bars, and my teacher just happened to be walking by, and it was St. Patrick's Day. I remember I was in kindergarten. I was 5 years old. I remember this. I finally did the monkey bars for the first time all by myself, and she came and she gave me one of the extra gold coins that she had lying around, the chocolate coins. That had such an imprint on my psyche that I still remember that 25 years later.
Hey, Al, how do you feel about approval from authority?
I love it. Crave it.
All right.
I've had to go to therapy about it. But I'm just saying, everyone in their like souls just wants to feel like they're doing a good job and doing good for the world.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, frankly, I bet you that a lot of people join the Dark Friends because they think it's actually like in some way they've twisted it into their minds to be like either it makes them feel important or it makes them feel like they're contributing.
Probably, yeah.
To a group. I mean, Galad joined the White Cloaks, I bet, because they give him a pamphlet and he was like, direction.
Well, he also got the, executive celebrity briefing where they left out all of the genocide and cactuses and, really shitty stuff.
And it seems like they kept him away from a lot of the shitty stuff to keep him because he was a good get for them. Same thing. I go to Galad. I'd be like, listen, this group wants to kill your sister. We got to turn this around.
Yeah.
Right? I get that you
also,
love
your
rules
mom.
And structure and shit, but they're going to kill your mom and your sister and the girl you have a crush on, who your brother also has a crush on, and we'll work that out. But, I think we've all got to admit that they've got some problems. Mostly that they want to murder your mom and sister. So how can we turn this around? You're the best swordsman in the world and you've got like a good title. Can we figure out a way to like break off from the guy who, sexually assaulted your mom?
Maybe we should do something about. Do you know about that, Galad? You know that big boss man is.
Did you know about that? Did you know that happened? Because we know that happened.
You may want to think about stabbing him. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Yeah, we know that happened. You know why? Perrin's hanging out with more gays right now. Perrin can
not that Perrin knows that.
Okay, but eventually we could have a discussion.
Because Perrin, I'm going to temper my Perrin criticism because people have been angry at us. Perrin, the Mensa member.
Yeah.
It was like, she looks like Elaine.
Okay, but are you telling me that Fail couldn't find that out after she has a couple glasses of wine with more gays? If she stops treating her like a servant?
She is a servant.
Okay, but if she stops treating her like a servant and starts treating her more like a friend, you telling me that Fail couldn't find out after a couple glasses of wine what went down?
I love Fail. I do. She is rich. I don't think she's gonna...
All right, fine. Barrelane, then.
I love Barrelane. I do. She is also rich.
Yeah, but they're smart.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Regardless. I'm just saying.
Sure.
She looks like Elaine. You're telling me Perrin didn't go, wait, this woman looks like a lot like Elaine, but hotter and older?
She looks like Elaine. She's hanging out with two people who I know worked in Camelin.
I'd just be like, let's bop Elaine in here and see if she recognizes her. What do you think? Just to double check. We don't even have to tell her what it's for.
I just feel like in a world where you do have magic
But aren't the other people also not hiding what their names are? It's just her?
Only her.
Okay, so you're telling me, that you've hung out with Elaine for 5 minutes and you haven't heard her talk about Leanie?
Oh, man.
And you don't think to yourself, okay, so I'm Fael, right? I'm Fael or Bear Elaine, and I know Elaine. Fael is like kind of friends with Bear Elaine, right? They hung out at the stone
With
tier.
Elaine.
Yeah, but and Perrin's definitely
briefly.
hung out with Elaine.
I think Fael was keeping herself pretty aloof.
Okay, but Perrin hung out with Elaine.
Perrin certainly has... Yeah, because he recognizes that Morghese looks like Elaine.
And Fael has seen Elaine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're telling me...
Again...
That they couldn't have a pillow talk one night where they're like, well, she kind of looks like Elaine, doesn't she? But like hotter and older. And then you're telling me that that they wouldn't go like, oh, Leanie is an interesting name. And the Perrin goes, Elaine talked about a Leanie a lot. And then we think, let's just talk to Rand because now Rand's going to be doing rounds, right? Talking to everybody, communicating, making sure everybody's getting along. You're telling me that they wouldn't go, maybe next time Rand comes into town, we go, hey, do you want to go get Elaine and just don't even tell her what it's for so we don't get her hopes up, but just have her like walk around here for a little bit and see if she recognizes her own fucking mother.
Oh, that'd be good.
Hashtag put Allie in charge. Anyway, now that I've solved all of the problems, let's talk about... Let's talk about the mess Rand makes of things.
A dozen leagues east of Abudar, Rakan glided in and out. Oh, there's no end.
Because then we would go back to, really quickly. Then we would go back to Galad and be like, hey, Galad, we have your mom and your sister. They're alive. They're fine. And we could go to Gawain too and be like, stop with this younglings bullshit.
We haven't seen Gawain since mid-Fires of Heaven.
I'm telling you, we could go back to both of them though. And we could, once we figure out where they are.
Yeah.
And we could go, okay, stop with your bullshit. This is ridiculous. They want to kill your mom and sister. Elaida wants to kill you, and you are kind of aware of that. So weird that you're still hanging out with her. And but who am I to speak, Rand, when I surround myself with people who want to kill me and I take their advice?
Who want to kill. Well, hey, keep your friends within 10,000 miles and your enemies right next to you.
I mean, really, with knives in their hands.
Yeah.
Don't take those knives away.
No.
And then I go, and Elaida actively wants to murder the woman you love, Gawain. So all of that seems bad, right? I don't want to do any of those things. So maybe you should and proof, I didn't kill your mom or your sister. Look at them. They're right in front of you, alive. You can touch them. You can say hi.
This is not a Winter's Tale.
This is not a Winter's Tale.
I'm not pretending they're statues.
This is not a glamour. You can touch them. You can get as close as you want to. And you can ask them any questions you want about their identity to prove it. Then let me see. And they can tell you, I didn't do shit to them. But the White Cloaks did, Galad, notably. So anyway, why don't you join us, bring whoever you think is cool from your group, and we'll get this shit taken care of. Cool? Look, I solved another problem. Continue. How did Rand make a mess of things today?
A dozen leagues east of Abudar, Rakan glided in out of the cloud-streaked sunrise to land in a long pasture marked as the Flyers Field by colored streamers on tall poles. So the Rakan are massively clumsy when they land, which is really funny. They're feeding them whole shriveled fruits by the double handful at a time. Anyway, like a whole page later, we finally get the identity of who we're with. Who are we with?
Oh, Davram?
Seanchan. Why would Davram be with Rakan?
Oh, I deleted that word from my brain.
Good golly. Yeah, Seanchan.
Plot twist.
But a different Seanchan. This Seanchan guy is named Kenner Mirage, also known as Seanchan.
Cool name.
He is Captain General Kenner Mirage. I don't think
He named himself for sure. See, the Seanchan, it's hilarious because they have names where it's like very clear that somebody like made up a name for them that was as cool as possible.
And this is not even the same guy as a couple of chapters ago. That was Asid Bakun, a.k.a. Seanchan, and now we're with Kenner Mirage, a.k.a. Seanchan. Yeah. Not to be confused with Furyk Kharid, a.k.a. Seanchan. Why are all of their names iambic? No. Da-da-da-da. What is that?
Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da.
Is it trochaic?
No, that would be da-da-da-da.
I don't know the beats. That's your territory.
They're cool. They're good names.
Cool. They're cool. They're
Firat
cool names.
Kareed, Kenner Mirage,
Ba-da-da,
Asi
ba-da-da.
Bakun, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
But all of those names give, to quote What We Do in the Shadows, a strong Jackie Daytona energy.
Jackie Daytona.
Yes.
Yeah.
They all give Jackie Daytona. It's very clear that there are names that were like not given to them by parents. That was like my friend who raised me to the blood or whatever, or gave me a promotion. It was like, I'm going to call you. Here's a cool name. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely
That's what
right.
it's giving.
No, look, I'll tell you.
You're telling me Kenner Mirage is a name that somebody named their child?
I'll
No,
tell you
that is a stage name for sure.
When you get promoted, they give you a new name. That is correct. When you get promoted or demoted, they give you a new name.
I know.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they do. Am I wrong?
No, it does. So Kenner Mirage is like looking around, making plans.
Jackie Daytona.
Who rolls up? Your friend and mine. She's got one side of her head shaved.
Oh,
at least.
Suroth.
High Lady Suroth. Black hair, a proud crest spilling down her back, pleated snow-white gown and richly embroidered overrobe, somehow untouched by the mud outside. He had thought her still in Abu Dar. She must have flown out by Torakan. She was accompanied by a small entourage for her, a pair of A pair of Death Watch guards with black tassels on their sword hilts held the tent flaps, and more were visible outside, stone-faced men in red and green. So here's Suroth. She's got some Dakoval with her.
Dakoval. Again, it's like da-da-da.
Alwyn, a glowering woman in green robes with the left side of her head shaved, and the remainder of her pale brown hair in a severe braid, followed close on her mistress's heels. As Mirage stepped down from the dais, he realized with shock that the second Dakoval behind Suroth, short and dark-haired and slim in her diaphanous robe, was damane. A damane garbed as property was unheard of, but odder still, it was Alwyn who led her by the Idam.
See, this is how the wheel turns, because once upon a time, having your head shaved was maybe like that you were of the blood or whatever. Now it's something that cool girls get when they go through a breakup. You know what I mean? A particular kind of cool girl.
I also missed one thing. That Alwyn is Suroth's voice of the blood, capital V, capital B. And we also had Suroth sailed past as if they were as much the Death Watch guards, were as much servants as the lushly bodied Dakoval in slippers and a nearly transparent white robe, her honey yellow hair in a multitude of thin braids, who carried the High Lady's gilded writing desk a meek 2 paces behind. Yeah, so Leandrin's also here.
Mm-hmm. How? We don't know.
When's the last time we saw her?
She got tied off by Megiddian. That was the last time.
That was?
Pretty sure.
Let me see.
Last time I remember, anyway. But, as we know, not the most reliable.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, we haven't seen her since Fires of Heaven 34.
Mm-hmm. It's been a sec.
So she's just here now, which is cool.
Good for her. Hanging out with us.
Yeah, having a good time. Not really. So, he talks to her, they chat about some stuff. We get some lore, some deep lore, Allie. Deep lore. Deep lore.
Deep lore. Give it to me.
He goes to one knee and goes, "The light be upon the High Lady Suroth. All honor to the High Lady Suroth." And everyone else prostrates themselves. Mirage was of the blood, if too low to shave the sides of his scalp like Suroth. Only the nails of his little fingers were lacquered. Much too low to register surprise if a High Lady allowed her voice to continue acting as Suldam after being raised to the Sujin. Strange times in a strange land, where the Dragon Reborn walked, and Marath Damane ran wild to kill and enslave where they would. You are the... Oh, wait. You guys are the ones who are enslaving people.
Yeah, what?
What is this?
What in the revisionist history is this?
Oh, I think they're saying, like, they will kill and enslave them.
No, that's you.
No, he's saying they're running around for us to kill and enslave them. Where they would... I'm confused by the grammar here.
You know what confuses me? Is how you have those thoughts, and then don't immediately go... That's fucked up.
Are we the baddies?
I just, I get that you were like raised in a culture and you're raised by people. But my belief is that, you know, at a certain point in your adult life, you need to grapple with how you were raised and see if that was the best thing.
So Suroth's got more fingernails, and we talked about this on the stream. I think it's based on Qin Chinese. I'm not sure which Qin or Qin, some dynasty would do this.
When they initially mentioned it, I had envisioned that they just painted one single nail. And I was like, that's interesting. But then I realized they're talking about like they have one super badass, long, intimidating nail.
Like
and I'm
lacquered.
Like, so about that. That's so cool. And also like gives warning to my enemies kind of vibes. You know what I mean? But listen, and that will be the last time I compliment the Seanchan on this podcast. I'm just saying that's a vibe.
So Seanchan recognizes there's something funny about both the Dakoval with the honey-colored braids, which is Leandrin.
There's a lot funny about Leandrin.
And the damane, he's like, I can't really tell how old either of them is.
Yeah.
So the other one is probably...
I'm thinking because we've heard of her before, maybe Rima.
Yeah, it's Rima.
She's like, remember my name. And I'm like, I won't, actually. Sorry.
Rima Galfrey.
This is what would be so bad. She'd be like, someone should remember my name. And if it were me that were Egwene, I'd be like,
my bad.
Will do my best. Like my absolute best. But I'd meet another person and that name would be gone. And I'd feel really bad about it.
So, you know, they do some battle plans.
Our jobs are truly to remember our own names. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's the task we've been given from birth. Remember your own name by any means necessary. Otherwise, you're kind of on your own.
Yeah. So they make some battle plans, and he's like, yeah, we got at least a while, like a week or two before they get here. And she's like, no, they know how to travel. And he's like, how do you know that? And she's like, nah, don't worry about it. Shut up. And they think about like, yeah, you know, it is really a shame that on this side of the Erythoshan, their prophecies of the dragon are all corrupted. Then none of them have the reminders at the end of every sentence and the footnotes on every page with a big star on them that say, by the way, the dragon reborn will swear loyalty to the Empress, may she live forever. So weird that they don't have that penciled in on every single page.
It's almost as if this was propaganda. It just makes me laugh because I think I've talked about this before. I think I'm somebody who's like maybe overly self-aware in a bad way, where I'm like constantly questioning and worried about every decision that I made. I made a like passing comment to someone last night and I texted them this morning being like, I hope you didn't interpret it this way. Like I meant it this way. And they texted me back and they were like, I know. And so I'm fascinated by the fact that like this could be a thing, right? Where they're like, weird that it's not written in the prophecies in another culture. And I wouldn't think like, are we wrong?
I mean, we are all susceptible to propaganda.
Not me. No, I'm just kidding.
It's
what?
Good propaganda, or even bad propaganda, is very effective.
Sure.
You know?
We're
all
you know
susceptible
what? You're
to
right.
it.
I shouldn't be so judgmental.
You would probably be like, yeah, well, it is weird because this is how they are, and I have read evidence and text that this is always how it was.
No, I and the people that I identify with are the right ones at all times.
Because our propaganda is the truth.
Obviously.
Right? Duh. So, Suroth agrees to give some damane and Suldam to Seanchan. Small failures bring small costs. Great failures bring painfully great costs. You will have the damane you require, Mirage, and you will teach these Ashaman they should have remained in the north. You will wipe them from the face of the earth. The Ashaman, the soldiers, all of them, to the man, Mirage. I have spoken. And he goes, it will be as you say, Suroth. They will be destroyed. To the man. And he's like, well, you wish I could know if the Suldam and the damane were still sick, but okay, whatever.
See, and this is what the problem is with not like being a little more open to people's ideas, because that would have been useful information to know.
We switched to Rand. He's got his horse, and he's decided, yeah, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna charge. We're gonna keep doing. Weiramon, brilliant guy. I know I was talking about I wanted to cut his fucking nose off and kill him with it, but you know, we're good. It's good. Also, the Crown of Swords keeps poking me through my hair. No metaphor here.
I'm just saying. And then George R. R. Martin read this section and went, I have an idea for the throne.
Oh, I'm sorry. I my brain was on a different track.
Yeah, because the throne like cuts you when it like is basically saying you're not a good ruler.
Yeah. That's good.
This was what launched it all. This one passage.
So
Wild if true.
No, it's too late, I think. Because this was in the 90s, and I think A Game of Thrones came out before this book.
Oh.
90s, possibly early 2000s. I'm on book 8 now.
Game of Thrones came out in the 90s?
98. This one's
really?
The first book? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true.
Let me see.
I like that. It's a good premise.
96. First one came out in 96.
Okay, so then Robert Jordan read that and went, I have an idea.
I know what I can do.
We all steal from each other. It's true.
Yeah. All right. So Rand, Tai'daishar.
You just got to make it different. You're like, cool idea. I'm going to make it different.
Rand and Tai'daishar and all the other... every time I say Tai'daishar, I feel like it's a fantasy laundry detergent.
I see that. Tai'daishar. The children are eating Tai'daishar pods.
That would be a good title as well.
I think I feel like I've come up with some good titles recently.
So, war, everything, war, battle, war. Bashere, gateways, Bashere, Anaiyella and Eilil staying right next to Rand at all times. Gateways, nobles. And Rand is like, all right, everybody, 50,000 dudes 10 miles out of here. 10 miles away, all right? Here we go. You know what we're going to do? The scouts saw no signs of Soldam or Damane, but even without them, even with Ashaman, that's enough to kill a lot of us if anybody forgets the plan. No one will forget, though, I'm sure. No charges without orders this time. He'd made that as clear as glass.
Oh.
It was a simple plan in its way. They would advance west in 5 columns, each with...
I vaguely remember that Weiramon charges without orders.
I think he does.
I vaguely remember that does happen.
Each with Ashaman, and attempt to fall on the Seanchan from every side at once, or as close to all sides as could be managed. Simple plans were best, Bashere insisted. If you won't be satisfied with a whole litter of fat piglets, he had muttered, if you have to rush into the woods to find the old sow, then don't get too fancy or she'll gut you. Lews Theron is like, something's wrong with Saidin, and Rand is like, something's wrong with your face. Ha, got him. And then he self-5s.
I love a good self-5.
So, yeah, they start marching. Rand cut in with this because he noticed Weiramon was about to give a speech. And he's like, okay, here's the plan. We're going to march west and go.
See, and here's the thing. I think that if you let him give a speech every now and then, he wouldn't be trying to kill you. I really think that.
So we get an itemized list of all of the people who were here, which I'm going to skip.
Just let him give a speech to your, least important people, right? Like, the guys at the back, be like, you gotta inspire, these are, lower class guys. They could run at any moment. You need to inspire them, right? And then, if he fucks up, then it's low stakes, right?
Rand looks around, yeah.
I think that's how you handle a guy like that. You gotta give him, things that make him feel important.
Rand looks around and goes, he looks at all the people and how they're arrayed, and he goes, it was the same principle Rand had used all along. He trusted Bashere, and he thought he might be able to trust Gregorin, and none of the others could dare think of turning against him with so many Outlanders around him. So many old enemies and so few friends. Rand laughed softly, watching them all ride off from his hillside. They would fight for him, and fight well, because they had no other choice. Any more than he had, and Lews Theron goes, madness!
All right. Yeah. I think when Lews Theron is telling you that you're doing something mad, perhaps you've gone too far.
So the Ashaman ride up, and Dashiva gets off his horse, or rides his horse up, and Rand is like, you don't look confused. You look very intent. That's odd. And he rides up to Rand, and
a whole personality change.
He seizes the source, and Rand is like, you shouldn't do that right in front of me, dude. I almost decapitated you. And he makes a little dome around him and Rand, and he goes, there's something askew with Saidin here. Something amiss. Sounding not at all vague. In fact, he sounded precise and testy, a teacher lecturing a particularly dense pupil. He even stabbed a finger at Rand. I don't know what it is. Nothing can twist Saidin, and if it could be twisted, we'd have felt it back in the mountains. Well, there was something there yesterday, but so small. I feel it clearly here, though. Saidin is eager. I know, Saidin's not alive, but pulses here. It's difficult to control.
Okay.
And Rand is like, look, you're just a little baby channeler. You're just getting used to the taint. You don't really understand how this works.
In fact.
Like, you're just getting started. I understand. You're learning to crawl. I am running now, and you're just getting used to the taint.
No, that's not what's happening, because he is actively Osengar. So he has been channeling before Rand was ever, born. And he's telling him, as have other people, and also he is aware that something is wrong. And yet he's like, nah, you know what? I am the Lord of the fucking morning or whatever. And I'm like, he's so dumb.
Dashiva made no move to obey. Instead, he opened his mouth angrily, then snapped it shut. Shaking visibly, he drew a deep breath. I am well aware how long you have channeled, he said in an icy, almost contemptuous voice, but surely even you can feel it. Feel, man. I don't like strange applied to Sidene, and I don't want to die or be burned out because you're blind. Look at my ward. Look at it. And Rand looks at the ward and he's like, huh, it's moving. That is weird.
And what does this incredibly intelligent boy do, Gus? Does he go, this is probably not safe for me or anyone who I may value? No. He goes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ignore it. Because I am Rand.
Dashiva goes, I cannot believe you didn't notice it before. You've been holding Sidene practically day and night since we began this mad expedition. This is a simple ward, but it did not want to form, then it snapped together. Like it was being pulled out of my hands. And Rand goes, but it did form. Sidene is hard to control. It's always hard. It still does what you want. Get back with the others, Dashiva.
Okay, so here's the problem. Rand is the problem. It's, it was like watching a car crash. Like, you knew it was coming. You could see it happening, and yet you could do nothing to stop it. And so you just have to hold on to your butt, because you're like, you know what? But we talked about, we're like, okay, here's what people like and makes them loyal. You show that you think that they're important and valuable and you value them, right? And in a war and stuff, is there going to be casualties? Yeah. Is there going to be, is it going to get fucked up every now and then? Yeah. But if you make them feel like they're fighting for a cause worth fighting for, right? Like the Battle of the Two Rivers, right? No one broke. No one ran. In fact, the women came back when they didn't have to and fought with their husbands.
I mean, they did have to.
I mean, they really did have to, but, against what they were told to do, they came and fought with their husbands.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. In order to win people's trust and loyalty, you have to show them that you care. And did people die at the Battle of the Two Rivers? Yeah, but they made that choice because to stay and to fight, not to be selfish, because they truly believed that they were there that this was something worth dying for. And right, humanity, I think, might be worth dying for. Your own life is worth dying for. You know what I mean? The lives of your family and the lives of the people that you care about. Everyone has people they care about, right? Versus, or at least a dog or something, right? But what's going to make them, and what they're going to walk away from this with, which is going to make everything worse, is they're going to go, the Dragon Reborn doesn't care about us.
Yeah, probably.
He tried to murder a bunch of us just to win a battle he already won.
Yeah, well, that's something coming up, actually. It's good. It's a good scene. We're about to get to the Bertome scene.
If I were literally anyone else in this, I would be like, I'm not working for this guy anymore. If I weren't already planning to assassinate him, I certainly would be after this.
I've mentioned before the book that I read much of. It's called Achilles in Vietnam, which is about, through history, soldiers who feel that their commanders do not care about their lives. And it uses Achilles as the prototypical example of this, because Achilles goes, fuck your war, fuck everything, you took my honor, therefore, fuck you.
Yeah.
I will not fight for you. I would rather you died.
Right. Agamemnon didn't care about Achilles. Achilles felt that and was like, then fuck you.
And it draws parallels to people who would actually kill their commanding officers.
Not to mention that Agamemnon did a really bad PR move by killing Iphigenia right in front of everybody before they left.
Yeah, it was bad.
Didn't do a lot for morale at that point.
Yeah, it was bad.
I don't think.
But I think this is, this is a real fucking thing that Rand is fucking up here. And it is. I mean, as frustrated as we are with Rand, I want to make sure that we pause and say I think this section is incredibly well done in that way. To zoom out from in the book and look at the writing and the intent.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, here's the thing. I'm bagging on Rand and I'm saying like, this is how I would have done it. I understand that the thesis of this book is that, people may put themselves before the greater good.
Yeah.
I get that. And you know what? That's something that makes me really anxious all the time.
Yeah.
I get anxious about that a lot. About whether or not we would actually try to save humanity if humanity were in peril. I mean, it might not be happening right now. So, I just feel like then we get moments with the Battle of the Two Rivers where we're like, okay, but at the same time, we are capable of great sacrifice and selflessness.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's a nihilistic series. I think it's a very hopeful series.
Yeah. I do think, though, that it does showcase, in my mind, really well, the inevitable hubris that someone might get to when faced with continual trauma, and yet they've been able to get off in terms of like real deep personal cost pretty scot-free at this point, right? Like the Two Rivers was saved. They have been kind of winning so far. Has there been really devastating losses? Yeah. But like, have one of the Two Rivers kids died because of a choice Rand made?
Not yet.
Not yet. Like, people have died, but are they people that Rand specifically really gives a shit about?
Moiraine. And that one fucked him up pretty bad.
I don't think he's reflected on it as much as I would hope, but
I think Rand may have been burying his trauma.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that people do,
yes.
Right? But I think, unfortunately, what we're seeing in a realistic sense is a very young guy who's decided because of trauma that he's not listening to anyone who he should be listening to. He's letting bad influences have the say. He's letting awesome have the say, right? He's letting, let me show my power have the say.
Well, he ends justifying the meansing.
Yeah.
Right? He's saying, I need you to defeat the Seanchan, therefore.
Yeah, and I think, hopefully, what I'm hoping comes out of this is the same thing that Cadsuane and Cerealia have been talking about, where they're afraid that Rand is shunting off his humanity, right? And cutting himself off from it. So what I'm hoping is that this makes him wake up a little bit to the fact that, if he's just badass dragon guy, he's getting people killed. And people are not going to want to follow him.
Yeah. On that, we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll continue. So, we're back. We switch to Seanchan, kind of Mirage. They get ready to fight. And then we switch to Bertome Saigon. And Bertome Saigon is with Doresin, whose last name I don't remember. But he is a Cairienin. Bertome is being massively dismissive of Weiramon.
I was so sure that Bertome was going to die in this moment. I was prepared because he walked in on that Weiramon... Gedwin conversation. Oh yeah, it was Gedwin. Gedwin's bad news. Let's be honest.
Bertome goes, Doresin, you lump. And Doresin rides over to him, and Bertome goes, you realize the Lord Dragon means us to die? Blood and fire, I only listened to Colivir, but I've known I was a dead man since he killed her. And, so, they're onto this.
Yeah, that he's trying to get rid of them. He wasn't subtle about it. He might have even said it in front of him. We don't know, to the extent to which he's saying the quiet part out loud.
We've got Weiramon is also there, and I'm sorry, that was Doresin is the one who tells him that. Bertome is like, hey, Doresin, come talk to me. And Doresin is the one who goes, he wants us to die.
Yep.
And then Bertome goes, an elaborate way to go about it. And I doubt Althor would have sent those fellows with us if we were just being fed into a sausage grinder. So actually, Bertome doesn't think that they're just being sent to die. The Resin is onto it. Bertome is not.
I mean...
And it's not that Rand wants them.
Rand is going to actively kill them.
Yeah.
I think he's just like, if they die...
I wouldn't be too upset.
I think this is the perfect storm of things. Because he has decided, I think, in his brain, he's like, I can't lose any more people, especially women. So I'm going to bring people with me where if they died, it wouldn't hurt so bad. Which is a human impulse that I understand. Right? Get it 100%. Because this is hard. What he's doing is hard. Let's not pretend like it's not, right? I know I came up with my neat little solutions, but it's hard. It's hard work leading people to potentially to their deaths. This is difficult. But, he needs to learn what Perrin learned a few books ago, which is to focus on who survived.
Yeah.
He brought these people because he thought, if they die, it won't hurt so much. Unfortunately, they understand that because... he brought all the people that he doesn't mind dying.
Yeah,
and
almost exclusively.
Confusingly, Davrin Bashere, which I would feel some kind of way about if I were Davrin Bashere. But he's like, all right, so I'm going to send you all to your deaths. I'm not going to actively cause it, but if you die, you die.
But if it happens, it happens.
Yeah. But what that's going to make them do is go, oh, we're the people he doesn't care about bumping off, so we should probably get him before he gets us.
So Bertome rides up on Weiramon. Weiramon and Gedwyn are talking. And Weiramon is beat red, and Gedwyn is playing with his reins idly, and Weiramon goes, I don't care who you are. I won't take more risk without a command direct from the lips of... And then they look at Bertome and are like, hey! Weiramon's mouth snapped shut. He glared as if he wanted to kill Bertome. The Ashaman's ever-present smile melted away. With a small shock, Bertome realized the man also wanted to strike him dead on the spot. And then Weiramon's face underwent a remarkable transformation. The red faded slowly as he produced a smile in an instant, an oily smile with only a trace of mocking condescension. I've been thinking about you, but pity Althor strangled your cousin with his own hands. Frankly, I was surprised you came when he called. I've seen him watching you. I fear he plans something more interesting for you than thrashing your heels on the floor while his fingers tighten on your throat. And Bertome is like, oh my god, you are so transparent here, trying to make me get riled up because Rand al'Thor killed my cousin. I'm a Kyrianan. This is breakfast.
I think for him, here's the thing. I think for Weiramon, Weiramon's way smarter than he's letting on.
He might be.
Well, because here's the thing. Now it's like confusing again because he was like acting like an idiot and being really obvious about like, hey, you should assassinate Rand. First of all, he was saying, I'm not doing anything unless I get direct orders from... You could think that he was saying the Dragon Reborn, but you could also think that he's saying Mazrim Taim.
Weiramon is the one who was talking.
Yeah, he's saying, I'm not... Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Oh, you think Weiramon's in touch with Taim?
Maybe.
Could be.
I think that there's a grand conspiracy going on between this group, the Seanchan, and the Black Tower. Some of the Seanchan, not every Seanchan.
It's very possible, because Suroth does have more information than she should have.
Yes, she has way more information than she should have. Gedwyn is talking to Weiramon. Why would Gedwyn talk to Weiramon about anything?
Why would he be telling Weiramon to do something? 100%. I wonder if Gedwyn is telling Weiramon to charge.
Maybe.
He knows it's an easy ask. Mm-hmm. Right?
And Weiramon does later charge without Rand telling them to. But here's the thing that creeps me out. Weiramon gets pretty instant control of his face.
Yeah.
That's something that like a blustering idiot wouldn't be able to do, right? And then he starts to try, like, seemingly clumsily manipulate, what's his name? Dessen? Bertome. So he tries to manipulate Bertome. But in my mind, he's thinking two things. One, if it comes across clumsily, he could be dismissed once again as a fool, no matter what.
Yeah.
Which is a win for him.
For Weiramon? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he can feign innocence of like, we were just making conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't say kill the Dragon Reborn. I said, I'm sorry to hear that he killed your cousin. Like, I was just offering my condolences. And Rand thinks he's an idiot. Everyone else thinks he's an idiot. They'd probably buy that, right? He's saving face in that way. Two, if it ends up causing him to manipulate Bertome into killing Rand, then that's also a win for him.
Yeah.
Why am I not running shit? No, I'm just kidding.
So then one of Bertome's scouts shows up. By the way, Weiramon sent one scout. Bertome sent like 12.
And again, why?
One of Bertome's scouts gets back. And he goes,
Shit.
"There are 2,000 Terrabonners hot on my heels." Wait, that's too posh. "There are 2,000 Terrabonners hard on my heels, and women with them, with lightning on their dresses." And Weiramon goes, "Hard on his heels. We'll see what my man has to say when he gets back. I certainly don't see any." And then all of a sudden, lightning and explosion and kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. And Weiramon laughs. And wait, this is hilarious. Weiramon goes, "Kill whoever you wish, wherever you wish, Gedwin. I use the methods I use, and that's that."
Kill whoever you wish, wherever you wish. I use the methods I use.
And then he does charge.
Sure.
But
Because
yeah.
that's what his favorite thing is.
So, I'm sorry, I was wrong. He totally wasn't saying you should charge. He was saying, let's kill somebody in a certain way.
And he's like, I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah.
Which is charging at him.
Yeah.
Eventually.
So maybe Weiramon is a little bit of a fucking idiot if he let that out.
I mean, he can be a fucking idiot who's scheming against Rand.
Sure.
Right? But, I mean, my thing is I think there's a scheming happening between those women, the Black Tower, Weiramon, and Suroth, because now they all have kind of been connected in some way.
Who do you think Weiramon was getting orders from? Was waiting on orders from?
I mean, who would he view as... Well, Weiramon, like, let's be real. Weiramon thinks he's, like, highest of the high class, right?
Yeah.
He always looks down on commoners and shit.
Yeah.
So he would view himself as not needing to answer to anyone who isn't the top of the top,
Which
right?
is Rand.
Or who do the Black Tower view as the top of the top?
Does he care? Well,
Does who care?
Does Weiramon care about the Black Tower?
Well, clearly they're plotting something together, so he might.
Let me ask you this. You're looping... Remind me all your co-conspirators.
The girls
Okay.
that tried to stab Rand.
Okay.
That thought about it.
Okay.
Weiramon.
Okay.
Maybe like a bunch of those nobles.
Sure.
You know, maybe there was a reason we had to hear every single one of their names.
We know that a bunch of those nobles were in open rebellion against Rand before.
Right. So
Yeah.
who says that they're going to stop? And also Weiramon, who hails from a place where they all were maybe going to kill Rand.
Yeah.
At some point, right? Because Rand was coming in and changing everything. And also because it's the Stone of Tyr.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Tower.
Okay.
But Mazrim's team. Because I think there'll be a split between the two. Like the people who follow Mazrim and the people who follow Rand.
Have you come down firmly on whether you think he's a dark friend or not?
He's definitely a dark friend.
You think he is a dark friend?
Yeah,
Okay.
At this point, absolute what? He's turning everyone against Rand by accident?
Because he doesn't like Rand, because he's a dick. Well, no, it's fine. Yeah, whatever, you know. And who was the other one? Was Suroth?
Suroth.
Who is...
a Seanchan.
And
a dark friend.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like you're proposing an alliance of dark friends and dumbasses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dark friends and dumbasses who are like really classist. Yeah, I mean, also think about it. Rand's a sheep herder, right? Weiramon knows that. Now Weiramon's like, why am I following some guy who's not nobly born? You don't think that these classist fucks take that into account?
Well, but then who is he waiting on orders from?
Well,
he's
what's
a high
Mazrim
lord.
Taim's background?
He's not Tyron.
No, but is he noble born?
I don't think so.
Do we know that? But regardless, I mean, that would be the highest of the high, right?
What?
Getting orders from Mazrim?
No. Why would that be the highest of the high?
Because he's the whatever he calls himself.
How do Tyrons feel about channelers, as a rule?
They don't like him.
Fuck him.
Yeah, but if they're working together, he's not going to take orders from Gedwin. He'd take orders from Mazrim.
Yeah, sure.
Or he could also be waiting for orders from Suroth. I don't know. Who is the lead conspirator here?
Good question.
Because whoever the lead conspirator is who he wants to take orders from. What about Tashiva?
We don't really have any background on Bashere. Not Bashere, I'm sorry. Taim. He's just a guy.
Who showed up one day?
Yeah.
Well, because that would be interesting if he were nobly born. So then, like, he's like, I want to follow the nobly born guy. Because that would clock. That would track. Well, there are a couple candidates of who might be the most powerful person that he would want to follow. Because I don't think he'd follow Tashiva, because Tashiva's farm guy.
Why would Weiramon answer to anybody but himself.
But he said, because he said he was only going to take orders from, and then he trailed off.
Yeah.
So who would he take orders from?
That's my
Himself?
question. Who else would he take orders from, and why?
Himself? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm saying that either there's somebody that he views as like the top of the food. Either it's himself, right? And maybe I'm just reading way too much into this.
Well, he wouldn't say, I'm not going to take orders from anyone but myself.
I mean, he might. He might have been saying the Dragon Reborn.
Could be.
But everything else he says is conspirator-esque. I'm feeling very Ides of March about this whole thing. Am I wrong? Does Rand need to get stabbed 45 times before he finally realizes that he needs to delegate?
Well, he's been shot and stabbed several times already.
I know, but maybe he needs one more time just for emphasis. Hopefully he learned something after this Kalendor incident, but I think it's just going to make everything worse because I think everyone's going to be like, he doesn't give a shit about any of us. We need to get him. I think... So either it could be someone that he's viewing as like the top of the top in the Stone of Tyr. It could be someone that he views as the top of the top in the Black Tower, in which case that's Mazrim Taim. Again, like I said. It could be someone he views as the top of the Seanchan, even though he's fighting them actively right now. And he wanted to keep going.
He did.
He and the girls wanted to keep going, but if they're connected to the Seanchan, then why do they want to keep going?
Good question.
That's weird. That's suspicious. Unless the whole idea was maybe like they had a plan to kill Rand and it got, like Rand got shot. They didn't go for the women.
They got shot while Weiramon had conveniently not intercepted the group of archers that shot Rand.
Right. I think they've been planning to use these battles as a means to kill Rand.
Yeah.
And then the girls are sitting there like realizing that he's still alive and debating whether or not they should be the one to end it. And they were worried about the Black Tower getting a hold of them.
Well, I would be too.
Well, they were worried about it, but they didn't say if Rand dies, we're worried about it necessarily, did they? Because they said if Rand dies, they were worried about what would happen with Davra. First, there was someone first, and then they said, and if the Black Tower gets a hold of us, but that could have been the alternate thing, because after they said that, they got their knives out. Am I wrong? Shall we review? Because that could have also been like, oh, but on the other hand, if we leave him alive and the Black Tower gets a hold of us, we're fucked. But why would they attack the Seanchan? Still, yeah, I think it's trying to set him up so that he dies in a way that looks like a casualty of war accident.
Well, what does Weiramon get out of this?
Rand's out of the Stone of Tyr.
Sure. Okay.
They get to attack...
Pure self-advancement.
They get to attack serving women at their leisure.
So it's pure self-advancement for Weiramon for all these people.
Well, they've been in open rebellion against Rand before.
Not Weiramon.
Well, yeah. I mean, his whole thing is about how he's like a noble guy and he wants to be in power.
Sure. Okay. No,
isn't that the self-interest that Robert Jordan says no one can seem to resist?
Yeah.
Doesn't Robert Jordan view selfish people as like the sign that they're a dark friend or that they're a bad guy and we shouldn't trust them?
I was going to say that's a leap.
Well, no, I don't think he's a dark friend. I think he's a moron who wants to advance himself and also might be getting the vibe that Rand wants him dead.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, what's a better motive for wanting to get someone killed than thinking that they want to kill you first? Am I wrong? And Rand did not exactly help matters by going, hey, do you know who I don't mind if they die? All these people. Let's bring them.
Shall we press on?
Fine.
I just don't know what else I can... I think you've got a lot of good stuff to ruminate on. I just don't know what else I can say without...
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Without spoiling me on something?
Without giving you more information than you have.
Okay, well, do you like my theory?
I think it's great. Yeah, I think they're terrific.
All right. Well, Let's see if I'm right.
So he goes... Sanyaga and glory. And Bertome is going, Saigon and Kyrian. And he's like, what the fuck is up with this guy? This guy's doing something sus. And then we talked about it for a while. And the wind rose, and then there's battles happening, and this is horsemen clashed amid thick trees and heavy underbrush where shadows hung heavily. The light seemed to be failing, the clouds thickening overhead, but it was hard to say with the dense forest canopy for a roof. Booming roars half drowned the ring of steel on steel, the shouts of men, the screams of horses. Sometimes the ground shook. Sometimes the enemy raised shouts. Den Lushenos! Den Lushenos! And the bees!
The bees!
Annalyn! Rally to Annalyn! Hylan! Hylan! For the High Lord, Sunaman! And Varric is like... Varric, who we are with now, who I think is, Seanchan. So Seanchan, who we're with now, is fighting people and slashing, and he's trying to get a message to Seanchan, also known as Banner General Chianmai, who I don't think we've met before. And he gets a little farther. He had been sure, after the frantic retreat to the ships at Falma, that he'd seen the worst he ever could see, the ever-victorious army, in a rout. Not half an hour gone, though, he'd seen 100 Terreboners face one lone man in a black coat. 100 Lancers against one, and the Terreboners had been ripped to shreds. Literally ripped to shreds. Men and horses simply exploding as fast as he could count. The slaughter had continued after the Terreboners turned to flee, went on so long as one of them remained in sight. Perhaps it was really no worse than having the ground erupt beneath your feet, but at least damane usually left enough of you to be buried. That sucks. So he gets to this where Chianmai is. There are very few people alive. Chianmai is super dead, burned to a crisp. There's Terreboners, Amedicians, and Altarans here. The only Seanchan was a tight-faced Suldam soothing a weeping damane. I think it's notable that he doesn't consider the damane a person.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "What happened here?" And this Terreboner goes, "'Tis madness, my lord. A group of Ilianas, they fell on us without warning. At first all went well. They had none of the black coats with them. Lord Chianmai, he led us bravely, and the woman channeled lightnings, and then just as the Ilianers broke, the lightnings, they fell among us too." And the Suldam jumps to her feet and goes, "I will not hear this dog's words against my Zakai. She's a good damane, a good damane." And Varric is like, "Oh, okay, calm down. I didn't mean calm down. Take a breath."
Mm-hmm. Simmer down.
And he said, "This is my command now. We're disengaging and we're going south." And the Terreboner is like, "We can't do that. We're tight in the battle." So anyway, they talk, and Varric is like, "We're getting out of here." So what happened here, by the way?
Who's the lead Terreboner on the other side?
I don't know.
Maybe that's the guy. I don't know. That Weiramon's waiting for orders from. Who knows?
Maybe. So what happened here, by the way?
What happened here?
Yeah.
Oh, so what's her name? Zazzle?
Sure, Zazzle.
Right. Okay. So Zazzle the damane was channeling around, and all of a sudden, just like we have been told many, many times, the Saidar reacted to whatever went on with the bowl, and instead of shooting lightning at enemies, it killed everyone around them.
Right. Because the power is misbehaving.
Mm-hmm. So again, Suroth, it would have been really helpful to get that information about whether or not they were still sick, so that we knew if we shouldn't rely on them at all. But instead, we just get a bunch of people killed, because whatever.
Oh, also, Kenna Mirage is here now, I think? No, Kenna Mirage gave him these orders to give to Chianmai to go south with all possible speed. So, yeah, they're going south. And then we switched to Bashere, and you thought Bashere was going to die.
I did. I thought he was going to get assassinated because I thought he and Bertone were fucked for seeing things they shouldn't have seen.
Yeah, you did. But then everything's fine. He's kind of walking around with some guys, and he climbs this hill, and he's with Gwayam and some other people, and Jordwin Samaris, and they're talking about what to do, and there's an Ashaman. Roshade is there, and Bashere goes up to him, and he's like, "Hey, are you guys going to actually help next time, or are you going to keep, taking your sweet fucking time to engage?" And Roshade is like, "Well, we don't want to drop grenades in our own men.
Fair.
So we're going to be careful with it." And Bashere thinks about how fucked all of this is, and he decides they're going to go around this, I think it's a hill, instead of crossing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, this all sucks, and we got to be really careful. We've got our 5 Ashaman, and everything sucks, and I don't like this. And Roshade is arguing with the Ashaman that are with him, because, I told him engage more quickly, and they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't apparently want to blow everything up. But that's otherwise we die, for sure, I guess, so. Mm-hmm. And then we switch to Rand, and this is the thing. He's looking around. He's on top of a hill looking out at the morass that is in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Dead men lay across the miles behind, dead enemies. Dead women, too, he knew, but he'd stayed away from anywhere Suldam and damane had died, refused to see their faces.
Oh my god.
Most thought it was hatred for those who killed so many of his followers.
No, that's not what they think. How do they know that I don't like when women die? One can only, theorize.
Always, Saidin had to be conquered, forced, but never before like today. The half-healed, never-healing wounds in his left side were agony. The older, an auger trying to drill through the void, the newer, a blaze of raw flame. And Joran Adley is there. Jonan Adley? Adley's there, and he goes, "It was an accident, my lord dragon. I swear it was." And Rand is like, "Shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down and watch what we're doing." Because what happened with Adley?
The Saidin fucked up, and then he ended up having to kill a bunch of their own people.
Adley killed a bunch of friendly.
And Rand's like, "Watch what you did." And I'm like, that only happened because you made them fight.
Yeah, you should not have done this.
They told you. Everyone told you.
And Anaiyella is like, "Okay, can we be done now? Like, I know I argued to continue the fighting, but this is a terrible idea. And even I think that we should stop."
Yeah. Getting you killed is not worth this.
She goes, Eilil goes, "What more can you want? If the size of a victory is accounted by dead enemies, I think today alone will put your name in the histories." And Rand goes, "I mean to drive the Seanchan into the sea. I did it before, and I'll do it again."
Okay.
And Luce Theron goes, "Do you have the Horn of Valir hidden in your pocket this time?"
And I was like, and that's when I went,
"Oh no."
Well, I knew before, and I was like, please tell me he doesn't do this. Please tell me he doesn't do this. And then the minute I heard, "Do you have the Horn of Valir in your pocket?" I was like, he's going to do it. And it's going to be really fucking stupid.
Bashere comes up the hill, looking exhausted, and he just walks up to Rand. He goes, "We're finished here. Part of fighting is knowing when to go, and it's time. I've left 500 dead behind near enough, and 2 of your soldiers for salt. I sent 3 more to find Samaradrin, Gregorian, and Weiramon and tell them to rally on you. I doubt they're in any better condition than I am. How does your butcher's bill run?" And Rand is like, "Don't worry about it. Fuck you for doing that."
Okay, if I were Bashere... remember how the Seanchan... Because this is what I'm worried about. You know how the Seanchan, there was that guy who was like blustering about and being an idiot, and being an asshole, and they ran him through?
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. And you're lucky that you have like ta'veren on your side and you've got all kinds of shit, but you're being that guy right now.
Because Bashere is like,
and you're
how
gonna
many
get people
have
killed?
You're thinking about how many people have died. You know how many people have died. We're done. We're done. It's over. Stop. I called everyone back.
You've also seen the consequences of using Saidin here. Saidar. Saidin. With Adley, which you helpfully made him watch.
So Rand has, by the way, at least 700 dead. And he goes, "You had no right sending orders to the others.
Oh my god.
So long as there are half a dozen Ashaman left, so long as there's me, I have enough. I mean to find the rest of the Seanchan army and destroy it, Bashere. I won't let them add Altara to Terrebonne and Amadicea." And
so if I were anyone within listening distance, I go, "Oh, so we're all disposable.
So we're fucked."
And so in that case, why the fuck should I follow you?
So Bashere points out at the densely forested hills and goes, "You want to find them? Look out there." I can't point to a particular spot, but there are 10, maybe 15,000 close enough to see from here, if those trees weren't in the way. I danced with the Dark One getting through them unseen to reach you. Maybe 100 damane down there, maybe more. More coming, for sure, and more men. Seems their general has decided to concentrate on you. I suppose it isn't always
really?
cheese and ale being ta'veren.
Is that what's going on? They want to concentrate on you?
And Rand goes,
couldn't be part of a grand conspiracy to get you killed.
If they're out there, that's where I'll destroy them, Bashere.
Oh my god.
I'll hit them from all sides the way we intended in the first place. Because the battle plan, the 5 columns thing, completely fell apart. Because the Seanchan were like, "Oh, they're coming this way. We're retreating. They're still coming. So let's, scatter and move south. And get the jump on them."
This is so dumb.
And Rand gets right up next to him. Sorry, Bashere gets right up next to him. Because,
Bashere's brave as hell.
Bashere... if Bashere doesn't win the Grinwell Cup for this one, Bashere comes up to him and walks right up to him, rides right up to him and goes to his ear and goes, "You aren't thinking straight.
That was a good plan in the beginning, but their general thinks fast. He spread out to blunt our attacks before we could fall on him, spread out, marching. We've cost him even so, it seems, and now he's pulling everything together. You won't catch him by surprise. He wants us to come at him. He's out there waiting for it. Ashaman or no Ashaman, if we stand nose to nose with this fellow, I think maybe the vultures grow fat and nobody rides away.
Now, what does Rand say? Does Rand say, Dan, that's a really good point. Maybe I should...
No, because he's an idiot. And here's the thing. I worry a little bit because Davram keeps getting Rand out of fines and stuff and was very lucky that he wasn't killed. If Rand kills Davram by accident or on purpose because he snaps, right? Because Davram keeps giving him advice and stuff.
Yeah.
If Rand did accidentally kill Davram, do you know what that's going to do to his relationship with Perrin?
He's done. It's done. It's over.
Like, Rand's really lucky he didn't kill Davram during this.
Rand's response is,
nobody stands nose to nose with the Dragon Reborn. The Forsaken could tell him that, whoever he is. Right, Flynn? Deshiva? And Deshiva goes, ooh.
Yeah, because he's Forsaken.
You think I can't surprise him, Bashere? Watch. Pulling the long bundle loose, he stripped away the cloth covering, and Rand heard gasps as raindrops glistened on a sword seemingly made of crystal. The sword that is not a sword. Let's see if he's surprised by Kalendor in the hands of the Dragon Reborn. Bashere. And he rides
Rand
forward.
wanted that to be so cool.
the last time he'd used Kalendor, really used it, he'd tried to bring the dead back to life. He'd been sure he could do anything then, anything at all, like a madman thinking he could fly. But he was the Dragon Reborn. He could do anything. Had he not proved it, time and again? He reached for the source through the sword that is not a sword. Saidin seemed to leap into Kalendor before he touched the source through it. From pommel to point, the crystal sword shone with a white light. And we get an analysis of what that feels like. He wanted to laugh. He could do anything. And he thinks like, okay, I made like a shadow spawn seeking thing once. Can I do that for Seanchan?
No. At least not when Saidin is being completely fucky.
With Kalendor blazing in his hand.
He's lucky that it didn't go, okay, I'm going to switch it. And leave all the Seanchan alive and kill everybody else.
With Kalendor blazing in his hand, he did not remember raising the blade overhead. He stared at the hills where his enemies hid. They were grey now, with thickening rain and dense black clouds blocking the sun. What was it he had told Egan Padros? I am the storm, he whispered.
Oh
a shout
God.
in his ears, a roar, and he channeled.
No.
Overhead the clouds boiled. Where they'd been the black of soot, they became midnight, the heart of midnight. He did not know what he was channeling. So often he did not, in spite of Asmodean's teaching. Maybe Lews Therin was guiding him in spite of the man's weeping. Flows of Saidin spun across the sky, wind and water and fire. Fire. The sky truly did rain lightning. 100 bolts at once. Hundreds, forked blue-white shafts stabbing down as far as he could see. The hills before him erupted. Some flew apart under the torrent of lightning like kicked anthills. Flames sprang up in thickets. Trees turning to torches in the rain, flames racing through olive orchards. Something struck him hard, and he realized he was picking himself up from the ground. The crown had fallen from his head. Kalendor still blazed in his hand, though. Vaguely he was aware of Tai'daishar scrambling to his feet, trembling. So they thought to strike back at him, did they?
Oh my God.
Shoving Kalendor high, he screamed at them. Come against me if you dare. I am the storm. Come if you dare, Shaitan. I am the Dragon Reborn. 1,000 sizzling lightning bolts hailed down from the clouds. Again something struck him down. He tried to fight up again. Kalendor, still shining, lay a pace from his outstretched hand. The sky shattered with lightnings. Suddenly he realized that the way to top him was Bashere. That the man was shaking him. It must have been Bashere who had flung him down. Stop it! The Chaldean shouted. Blood fanned down his face from a split across his scalp. You're killing us, man! Stop! Rand turned his head, and one stunned look was enough. Lightnings flashed all around him, in every direction. A bolt stabbed down onto the reverse slope, where Denarad and the armsmen were. The screams of men and horses rose. Flynn was bending over someone not far from a dead horse with legs already stiff. So Rand drops Saidin, and then there's about 10 seconds of silence. I wanted to read that all out because I think it's really, really good. writing.
It is really good writing. I'm angry and disappointed.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? The rare double, as opposed to I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. I'm both, actually. And Adley's dead.
Yeah, he killed Adley. How many more, Rand wondered? Among the defenders, the companions? Among... Rain thick as a blanket hid the hills where the Seanchan army lay. Had he hurt them at all? Striking out blindly? Or were they still waiting out there with all their damane? He goes, set whatever guard you think we need, Rand told Bashere. His voice was iron. One of the first. Adley. His heart was iron. When Gregorin and the others reach us, we'll travel to where the carts are waiting as fast as we can. Bashere nodded without speaking and turned away in the rain. I've lost, Rand thought dully. I'm the dragon reborn, but for the first time, I've lost. Suddenly Lews Therin raged up inside him, sly digs forgotten. I've never been defeated, he snarled. I am the Lord of the Morning.
Fuck off.
No one can defeat me.
Fuck off.
Rand sat in the rain, turning the crown of swords in his hands, looking at Kalendor lying in the mud. He let Lews Therin rage. And then we switched to Abdalar Yulan.
Real quick.
Yes.
I feel like this is a moment of, like, the realization of, like, war isn't cool.
It's not.
Like, just in case we missed it with Demise Wells.
If you thought Demise Wells was awesome...
And, like, being in command in war is not cool. It's, like, every mistake that you make, every, like, hubris moment that you have costs things that you cannot pay.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I love this book, and these chapters are a big part of why.
Yeah, that was fundamentally devastating to hear.
And then to give us perspective, I guess, Abdalar Yulan, also known as Seanchan, is weeping. Someone would have to give the order. Eventually someone would have to apologize to the Empress, might she live forever, and maybe to Suroth sooner. Roughly ripping a sleeve from his coat, he laid it across Mirage's staring eyes, so the rain would not fall in them. So Kenna Mirage is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Send out orders for retreat, Yulan ordered, and saw the men standing around him jerk. For the second time on these shores, the ever-victorious army had suffered a devastating defeat, and Yulan did not think he was the only one who wept. And that's the end of chapter.
That's because in brutality like that, everyone loses.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love these chapters. They're so bad. It's just, it's all bad. So, any closing thoughts on all that?
I don't know where we go from here.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that was heavy. That was a lot. I don't know where we can possibly go from here. I mean, he's shown the people that are following him that he doesn't care about their lives. I don't know how you do damage control on this. What I hope, earnestly, is that the lesson from this is I need to surround myself with my smartest people.
Well, what's he thinking right off the bat? Immediately after he realizes he killed Adley.
I've lost.
His voice was iron. His heart was iron.
No, come on. You gotta be kidding me. We're gonna learn nothing from this?
I don't know. We'll see, but right now it seems like he thinks that he's lost, but the question is, what does he learn? Does he learn that he has to be harder, or does he learn that he doesn't?
I think Daddy Dav's gotta give him a heart-to-heart. Like Talmanes did with Matt.
Yeah.
And like, who did that with Perrin? Elias.
Fael did. Elias did. Yeah, a lot of people have.
Did Tam at one point
Tam
too?
and, Tam did at one point, I think.
People have gotta have a real heart-to-heart moment with Rand. Where, like, they don't come at him attacking him, you know, because he'll freak out if they do. But they've got to sit him down and just go, I understand to a certain extent what you're going through, right? Like, people who have been in command before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Cadsuane's part of the Green Aja. She's been in battles before, I'm sure.
Probably.
Like, you know, just understanding, like, yeah, it's a hard position that you're in. And you're just a kid. And this sucks. But this can't be how you behave. You're going to get yourself and everyone else that matters to you killed. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it's going to take if this isn't the place where he learns.
Well, look at the shelf. What do you think?
I mean, I know we've got a lot of book series left. I'm just hoping that he starts to learn.
I hope so too.
Because, like, I can't imagine how it could get worse.
You know what they say.
But it's gonna.
Read and find out, yeah. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Maybe this is the turn. Well, we'll see.
We'll drink the wine till the cup is dry. Kiss the girl girls so they'll not cry. Toss the dice until we fly to dance with Jacko the shadows. We'll sing all night and drink all day, and on the girls we'll spend our pay. And when it's gone, then we'll away to dance with Jacko the shadows. We'll dance all night till the moon runs free, and end all the lasses up on our knee. And then you'll ride along with me to dance with Jacko the shadows.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on, including Twitter, where the Grinwell Cup is happening now. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes. And you can always leave us a rating or a review, which helps a lot. Other than that, anything else, Allie?
Thank God the Grinwell Cup's going on right now. Otherwise, I'd be so depressed today.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
There's some delight in ale and wine, some in girls with ankles fine. But my delight, yes, always mine, is to dance with Jacko the shadows. We'll toss the dice however they fall, and snuggle the girls, be they short or tall, and follow Lord Matt wherever he calls to dance with Jacko the shadows.
Thank you again for listening. This was Wheel Takes with Allie and Gus. Intro music by Alexander Nakarada. Outro music by Karen Bard Songs on YouTube.